welcome to BTV. We've got a great game for you. Part of a double header today, so do stay with us. It's Beeston ladies versus Clifton Robinsons. That match is beginning at 4 p.m, so not far away at all. And then that's followed at 6 o'clock by the men's Premier Division match, Beeston versus Southgate. Our focus firmly, though, on the first game in front of us, with the two teams completing their warm-up. And this is the way the table lies at the start of the day. Beeston sitting in second place on goals scored. Level on points with Reading in first place. 2 wins from 2 and 2 very creditable victories away at Wimbledon. And exactly a week ago here against East Grinstead. Today's visitors handily placed as well. 2 games in, 4 points on the board. So 2 undefeated teams meet in front of the BTV cameras today. A quick look at the history of the 2 teams as well, which is something we can bring to you on BTV as well. Clifton Robinsons pretty much ever present since the Premier Division began. A couple of relegations for both sides. Clifton Robinsons finishing in the top 4 last season and were a shootout away from getting into Europe. I was there at the finals weekend at Surbiton back in April, and it was a close thing. So 2 teams who've gone well for a number of seasons now, and 2 teams who have met each other frequently as well. The last meeting was actually in the National Cup semi-final. The game finished 4-4 in normal time. Beeston have played Clifton more than any opposition in the last 2 years, with 7 competitive games between them in 2 seasons, 2 in the Cup and 3 in the league. Time for a quick look at the lineups now, starting firstly with the Beeston lineup. Some bits of information for you as well. Lauren Dunn is unavailable, so too Rosie Stevens. B. Bell coming in, and also Julia Spence coming in as well. Julia Spence making her debut for Beeston after transferring from Loughborough University. And it's a warm welcome back to Bex Douglas, making her first appearance for Beeston in 3 seasons. Some of those numbers may not match up to the numbers on the back of the shirts, but we'll cross-reference that on the way through the show for you. Today's visitors, it's a relatively settled side. Not a lot of activity over the summer for Clifton Robinsons, but still a very strong lineup, and a couple of very familiar names if you've been watching BTV over the couple of years. Kat Gierak, Alina Davissa in the goal for Clifton Robinsons, as well as Sarah Jane Forburn. And also Livy Hoskins, players to look out for. I think Jess Lee is one of the new faces in the lineup for this week. So you are fully up to speed. The information we need to give you as well is our match officials. You can see on halfway our 2 umpires, Janice Tasho and Kathy Wright. And then just to the left of your picture in the middle is our match official, Bev Deacon. So that's the picture painted. Conditions are pretty good. There's a little bit of moisture in the air. It's overcast, but conditions are very good for a quick, free-flowing game of hockey. Good to see the ball patrol out there on halfway too. And hopefully you've enjoyed the pages from BFAX before we got underway as well. If you've enjoyed that, do let us know on the socials. So the game beginning in around 90 seconds time. Teams doing their final checks before the walkout. Beeston in a slightly unfamiliar white, black and white this week. Clifton Robinsons going in the blue with a dark top of the shirt, black and black. So I think we're all pretty much set and ready to go. Teams are making their way out. Once again, your match umpires, Janice Tasho and Kathy Wright. And we can focus on the teams as they make their way out. If you were joining us on BTV last week, it was a slightly different show than usual. Much happening off screen, and also 1,000 miles away as well to make what you saw visible. So the team worked very hard to bring it up. Last week, the same team, slightly different. Most Champions League shows. So it's Beeston in a white, black and white, meeting the officials and counterparts. it's as you were as well in terms of the match format. It's 4 quarters of 17 and a half minutes. So breaks at 17, 35. 2 minute quarter to a half. 10 minutes set aside. Said it's good to see so many people on the spectator gallery as well. The balcony behind us off camera is very busy as well. Good to see. Obviously, it's part of a double header, so at 6 o'clock it's the Beeston to take Southgate against the first time the season. So we are rolling. It is Clifton Robinsons to get us underway, playing from right to left, defending the boulevard end and attacking the park end. Beeston left to the right side. Some building work going on. Change of possession. Beeston now trying to work their way into the end and give possession away at halfway. Happening on the far side of the field at the moment. The sideline ball option is to go high here. That is what's happened. Played in towards the edge of the circle. Umpire gives it to them. Expecting a whistle now, but none came. Play on. Clifton pressing high up the field, trying to win the ball back. That's doing well for Beeston. Stick on it. I think the Bees can clear from here. Skipping along the turf, taken. That's Newitt. Turnover on the right hand side. Everything happening on the far side of the field as we look at it at the moment. And Burton in front of the goal. And I think we've got the first penalty corner of the game as well. Beeston going to their bag of face protectors. Let's see what happened here. So Beeston giving the ball away on halfway there. Challenge actually. Watching the 23-metre line. I think he might have just found a foot right on the edge of the circle. So the first penalty call of the game goes the way of the visitors. Robinson's 4 goals scored so far this season, 2 for Libby Hoskins, 1 apiece for Evie Grindle and Sarah Jane Thorburn. Beeston is set in defence. Trap is good, it's low and hard and then palmed away, and then umpires had a good look at that. Has that gone out of play? Yes, it has. Long corner, well defended from Beeston, and that was taken a little bit too quickly from the perspective of Clifton Robinsons, and Beeston snapped into that and won the ball back. Here's Captain Rowe, taking it out of the 23-metre line for the first time for Beeston, laying it off. Towards the circle, bouncing ball. Who's going to get on that one? The umpire's having a good look at that and indicates a long corner. He's really not hanging around at all. Twist to turn, good tackle. Right in the view of the umpire. Clifton Robinson's expecting that ball going to them, but it has gone the way of the hosts. Quick movement in the middle of the field, and that's a penalty corner for Beeston. Quick movement to the ball, unlocking the Clifton Robinson's defence. We'll have a good look at that in a moment, but yes, moving the ball around very quickly has led to a penalty corner for Beeston. Nick Moss looks like the player who's going over to eject the ball. To the left of your picture is Hannah Grieve, who scored at this end of the field similar time last week against the champions. So 2 penalty corners in relatively quick succession in this half of the game. Little bobble on the ball, played towards the goal, played away, but it will come back on a Beeston stick. Clifton Robinson's working hard to win the ball back, and they've won it on the far side of the field. A little bit unfortunate from a Beeston perspective. Clifton Robinson sweeping it around. Always late, he just couldn't get a stick on it. Will be a sideline ball just in front of the chapel here. Lottie Summers for Beeston. Yes, the team underway again. Good stuff down the Beeston left. Now switching it. Angle ball towards the right-hand side. That's a lovely take on the edge of the circle. What can the Bees do with this? They're driving towards the baseline. Long corner, just touched over by the Clifton Robinson's defence. Great diagonal ball, great take as well. The reverse takes a couple of touches on the way through. Who's quickest to it? Will Barol keep it in? She does. But then drags it over the baseline. Real good intensity up that end of the field for the Bees so far. Nice crisp ball across defence. Clifton Robinson, what they do now down the right-hand side. It's a side that they've seemed to favour early in the game so far. There's a couple of changes being made on the side. Visitors looking to go back to use the space. Change the point of attack. 80 rides one challenge. And then through the middle. Doesn't get controlled on the first touch, but this is neat from the visitors, and then very, very calmly done into the goal. Looks like a very, very calm finish from Phoebe Richards of Clifton Robinson's. All seems to happen in pretty much slow motion. Let's watch that again. So an early blow for the Bees. Clifton Robinsons are ahead. We'll get confirmation of the goal scorer as soon as we get it. Pretty sure it was Phoebe Richards, but we'll get that. Pressure, and there's a slip on the edge of the circle. Everything's okay. Burrell's looking for the ball to the right-hand side, but she's been ignored. That's fallen kindly for Beeston on the left-hand side. Nick Moss under some pressure. Looks to find the ball around the corner and does very well over the 23-metre line. Beeston attacking down the left and sweeping the ball in towards the circle. On the reverse, takes a couple of touches on the way through. Umpires had a good look at that. It's a defensive hit out. Crisp movement of the ball. Lee goes around the long way around. A couple of balls on the field, so we'll have to stop. It's Vice Captain Eloise Lady who got the connection. for the opening goal. Into the 10th minute, Beeston a goal down. The area ball picked off. Great deal of pressure, good run this from Evie Grindle. Takes the ball towards the top of the circle. That did look like it hit her foot, and I think the umpire agrees.
First goal scorers, number 7, Eloise Leighty.
High aerial ball over halfway. Defender gets the privilege. Holly Monroe with a restart. Really good tussle in front of the dugouts for possession of the ball on the far side of the field. Monroe again, finding the space for the pass. That ball cut out to take a couple of touches. It's still in play right in front of the Beeston bench. Calm progress up the field again by Clifton Robinsons. She's done well to pick that ball up. Came at her very quickly. She's won a free hit in the process. Monroe again, just in front of the camera, takes a turn, does well to find the space to strike towards the 23-metre line. Ball just popping up. It's still with the visitors. They're getting closer and closer to the baseline. Very good tackle. Relieve a little bit of the pressure. Decent give and go. And that's Ashley Mannering with the challenge. I'm not too keen on the way that the Beeston player addressed the ball. Now, Clifton Robinson's fairly serene progress so far. Opening weekend of the season, an away win to Isker and University of Exeter, 2-0 victory. West Country match. And then home to Wimbledon. The team that Beeston defeated away in the first weekend was 2-2 draw for Clifton Robinson. So a good start to the season, certainly continuing up to the 13th minute here. Good pressure from Clifton Robinsons, trying to force the mistake. Equally, Beeston have found a way through, ball up to 10 metres away from the halfway line. The aerial ball not finding a Beeston player. Driven out to the right-hand side from Clifton Robinsons, but didn't find a blue-shirted player. It's out on halfway. Beeston assessing the options before the restart, deciding to go back over the 23-metre line. Get a few confidence-building passes together, and then there's a nice ping towards furthest player forward. Down the left-hand side again. Lee takes it forward. Umpire's having a good look at that. There's a few calls for possibly a foot, but nothing's doing there. played onto the foot. There's a big call of saying, I was five, I think, out of the window here in the chapel. So a chance from the set piece, so pretty much on the 23-metre line. Ball's travelled a long way, and that's a disappointment from Clifton Robinsons from a good position, gifting not only the ball, but there's a decent field position back to Beeston. Definitely not in the script. Grieve thought about going to the right, just goes for a short ball forward and receives it again. Skipping ball. Well won in midfield from Beeston now. Ball forward, straight to a Clifton Robinson stick. There's only been a couple of opportunities where Beeston have threatened with the ball to the right-hand side of the field of the boulevard, and Clifton Robinsons have been in the circle twice, engineered a penalty corner and a goal. 17th minute begins on BTV. Clip ball taken down out of the air. Look at the blue shirts, look at the numbers, pressing, harrying. Great work rate from Clifton Robinsons. Taking a flick off a foot, so we'll come back. Aerial towards the left-hand side. A few players looking around there. I think Keris Miller may have felt she could have done better with that, and maybe she was penalised for trying to receive the ball in a very congested area. Play continues. There's a bit of stick on stick. And the ball pops up towards Jess Lee, who's had a very good first quarter. Run continuing. Is there a chance for a shot here? Takes a couple of touches. Beeston haven't got it clear, and they've gone direct out of play for a sideline ball for Clifton Robinsons. This is probably the final action of the first quarter, and the umpire in front of me, Kathy Wright, has blown, and it is exactly quarter time. Beeston 0, Clifton Robinsons 0. Eloise Leahy with the goal in the 8th minute that separates the side at quarter time. This is BTV. Welcome back to BTV. It's Saturday the 30th of September 2023. Two unbeaten teams meet here at Nottingham Hockey Centre, and after 17.5 minutes Clifton Robinsons have the advantage over Beeston by a goal to nil. Eloise Lady getting the touch to make it 1-0 to the visitors. We are rolling again. Floodlights are on. And Clifton Robinsons moving the ball around in the same manner that they did in the first quarter, very composed, finding the stick of a teammate more often than not. Beeston noticeably pressing a little bit higher up the field at the start of this second quarter. I wonder if that's the message, as that ball is pumped in towards the circles. An appeal. I don't think anything's coming from that. Long corner sweep of the arm from the umpire at the far side. There's space. This time it is a penalty corner. Clifton Robinson's moving the ball swiftly into the circle. Seemed to be plenty of time to take control of the ball, find that foot in the circle. Second penalty corner of the game for Clifton Robinsons. Delivery. Ball was loose, taking a couple of touches on the way through, and then there was going to be a big swing of the ball, of the stick towards the ball. I think it was Emily Drysdale who was the player who was to try and take the cover off the ball. I didn't make the connection. Hannah Grieve just checking the position of the ball. I think it is a replacement ball. And I think at the third attempt, we'll get the restart right now. A bit of pressure on the 23-metre line from Clifton Robinsons. Winning the ball back high up the field, that's one of the benefits of the press if you can get it, but that's good running. Ball drifts out for Beeston. Good to see the ball patrol today. Great to have them here. Intended for Carmen Ansley. There's a bit of bumping as Evie Grundle goes to ground. If we're able to, at half-time, we'll bring you an update from around the grounds as well. It was an earlier game today. Clifton Robinson noticeably shifting back their press to halfway, and Beeston looking to find a way through that. Now starting to put a few passes together higher up the field. Reeves' ball through is picked up. Grundle just timed that forward. Grieve anticipated it and did very well. And Grieve does well to play the ball off Grundle for a sideline ball. Very cagey affair, this one. That was one of the options. It was either going to be an explosion of goals or a very, very tight affair. And so far, it's been the second of the options. Clifton Robinsons give the ball away on halfway. Beeston trying to move it quickly. Support is over on the right-hand side off camera. Here is that support. Aerial ball taking a touch. Grieve mopping things up at the back. A slightly advanced role, actually. Still doing defensive duties. This is in the same pattern that served them well in the first quarter. Work the ball around Beeston midfield. Good running again from Grindle into the circle, across the face of goal, takes a touch off the goalkeeper's glove and nudged away for a sideline ball. Free hit for Clifton Robinson, support coming in. No one really looking at Holly Monroe as she pumps the ball in and then doesn't get a touch. Goalkeepers today, Steph Terrell, you can see in the green. The Beeston goal. Ellie Davissa, the goalkeeper and captain for Clifton Robinsons, served the club very well. Bit of good fortune goes Beeston's way with a free hit, more or less on the 23-metre line, very central. We're almost good to go, but we're being brought back. Diagonal ball towards the top of the circle, takes a touch to Visser with a boot. And we will come back for a Clifton Robinsons free hit. That's the first time that the visiting goalkeeper's been engaged. Having to move to block the ball towards goal with a foot. Right on the sideline on the 23-metre line. Beeston putting a few things together at the moment. Can they turn this into a goal-scoring opportunity? Ball in towards the circle, and not this time. Time off, and there's a potential for an injury assessment just on the edge of the circle. Just trying to get an idea of which player is down on the edge of the circle. For Clifton Robinson's up now. And all seems to be well. Sarah Davis, I think, who was the player that was down a few minutes ago. She seems now to be up and around, moving around okay. Doing well under pressure. Phoebe Richards to get the pass away. Grindle rides a couple of challenges. Skipping ball, and there was a player looking to get on the end of that. Very, very neat. I think Beeston have really got an answer for this at the moment. Clifton Robinsons are working the ball very well, managing to put it into dangerous positions before Beeston can get a challenge in on them. Certainly don't think we've seen the end of the scoring in this game so far. I think the next goal is going to be very important indeed. It could change the direction of the game. If it's a Beeston goal, or I think a second goal for Clifton Robinsons might just do it for them today. Still, plenty more hockey still to play under the floodlights. This is BTV. We're into the 28th minute now. Probably hear the sirens and actually see the fire engines going down the boulevard, so apologies if you've got your volume up very high. And all you can hear at the moment is fire engines. Diagonal ball into the circle, taken down. Is there a shooting opportunity here for Beeston? It's been played in towards goal, it's been knocked behind, and what's the umpire say? Long corner. Better from Beeston. There's a nice change of body movement. Free hit 5 meters or so outside the edge of the circle, so it's gone out. It can come back into the circle now. Mopped up. There you go, the Bees trying to play the ball back, and they can spread the ball out to the right hand side. That's one of the most incredible shirts I've ever seen, with an additional 1 to make it 130, and that's probably the biggest taped 1 I've ever seen in many years of watching hockey. Beeston towards the baseline under a lot of pressure. Support is there. The give and go not coming in towards the circle. Does it get a touch? The goalkeeper's had to make a movement towards the ball. Umpires watching on. It's still in play. Clifton Robinsons can't get the ball out at the moment. Beeston pressing hard on the baseline. They've appealed for it, and they've got, I think, the long corner here. Beeston turning up the heat here. Things are starting to click. Can they turn it into an opportunity? Bobbling ball in towards the circle on the reverse. Thinking about going aerial. Beeston win it back on the 23-metre line, moving it around neatly. There's the good control towards the baseline. Just leaving the space to get some more heat on the ball, playing it towards the circle, but Clifton Robinson's aware and equal to it. Well, really working hard high up the field. But that has left a little bit of space, and all the movement is down towards the car park end, and Clifton Robinsons have seen off that spell of pressure from Beeston pretty well. Best moment really of the game so far for Beeston in terms of sustained pressure. Half an hour gone. Gierak with the ball forward, taking a deflection, making it pop into the air. Richards held up illegally. Ball towards the left-hand side of the circle. I think there must have been a shout, because Grieve in the Beeston defence was hoping to just let that one out, but there was a Clifton Robinsons player hiding and waiting to pick up on the ball if there was a mistake. Coming up towards half-time in our first fixture of the day on BTV. It is a double-header, first of 2. Beeston Clifton Robinsons first up, and secondly the match starting at 6 o'clock. Beeston men versus Southgate, and that's a steal on the edge of the circle. Shooting opportunity here, but that's good intent from Grieve. There's another chance here, and we will get a penalty corner. Be interesting to see that, because it was all hands to the pump in the Beeston defence. picked off around the edge of the circle. Challenge coming in from Grieve, and I think it was played into Grieve by Richards. Clock continues to run. Another penalty corner for Clifton Robinsons. I'll make that the third of the game for them. The two deliveries that they've injected previously have been good. Moss's law of three says if you want to consider yourself a top team, you need to convert at least a third or one of your three penalty corners. So this is the third. Another delivery towards the right-hand side of the circle, played in low and hard and flicked wide of the upright. Player on the ground looking to get the telling deflection a couple of metres away from the baseline, but the deflection was wide of the upright, and a very, very good chance for 2-0 goes begging for Clifton Robinsons. Beeston coming towards half-time in an interesting team talk, you imagine, back in the clubhouse. As the ball goes out of play. James Sodillo is the first team head coach back from last season. First team manager Tom Eaves, new for 2023. Also on the sidelines, Becky Brookham, appointed as a team psychologist, and assistant coach Andy Partridge and Gregor Kelling, the physio, both returned from last season as well. Couple of players running into each other. That's left a bit of space on the Clifton Robinsons left-hand side. Nudged out of play. Long corner for Clifton Robinsons. This is probably the final phase of play for the first half. Very congested circle. So the option is to go backwards. Now we see the pump ball in towards the top of the circle. Played off the defender for a sideline ball. Riding the challenge. And the ball going to the circle again for Clifton Robinsons. A shot before the end of the half. It's a penalty corner. I think we're playing advantage. The ball is into the circle now. Flicked away. It will come back again with interest. Girak plays the ball out to the right-hand side. In towards the top of the circle again. Beeston standing firm, and that's pushed away. Clifton Robinson's back in possession again on the right-hand side. Just blocking the route towards the circle. Penalty is awarded. A free hit is awarded, should I say. And that is the final action of the first half. And a half that Clifton Robinsons lead at the end of by 1-0. Eloise Laty's 8th minute goal, the difference between the two sides as we head into half-time. It's been fairly even, but it would be unfair to say that Clifton Robinsons have had the edge across the entire of the first half. That's not to say it's a done deal. Anything can happen on BTV, so do stand by for the second half. We'll probably be back in around 7 minutes time or so for the second half live on BTV. It's Beeston 0, Clifton Robinsons 1. Welcome back to BTV. Quick recap if you're just joining us. It's Beeston 0, Clifton Robinson's 1, an 8th minute strike. Touch from Eloise Leahy, putting the ball into the goal for the only goal of the game so far. These two teams unbeaten in the league. At the moment, though, there is a new league leader based on the information that we have. Bowden beating Isca and University of Exeter, so Bowden now move on to 7 points. As things stand, so do Clifton Robinsons, but there's 35 minutes still to play. A win for Beeston today would be 3 from 3, but there's still work to do. The teams are ready for the start of the second half on BTV. It's Beeston now playing from right to left in the slightly unfamiliar white, black and white. You can see a few umbrellas there in the distance. Still a few rain droplets in the air. It's not massively unpleasant, but it's still not a great deal of fun to be out there at the moment, which is why we're grateful for being in the chapel. Beeston looking to hunt the ball down at the car park end. There's the goal scorer. Playing the ball forward. Looking to get the give and go from Phoebe Richards. Richards thought that she'd carry on with the ball, but no, we are coming back. What can Beeston do to shake things up? I think they need to be just a bit more alert in the defence. At the moment, there's a mass of Beeston defenders around the edge of the circle. Clifton Robinson's working it around the edge. Good stick control. Possible risk of a back stick in the circle, but well avoided. Free hit, 4 metres or so away from the line of the corner. Back out to Daniel. Rides one challenge. It's still live in the circle, right in front of the umpire. And Beeston can clear. So in the opening 2 minutes of the second half, it's pretty much as you were. Clifton Robinson's working the ball high up the field. Beeston not really having much of an answer to that so far. The question from the umpire, are we coming back for a Clifton Robinson's free hit? No, I think it is going to be a Beeston free hit. There's a little bit of doubt there from both sides as to what was going to happen. The aerial ball doesn't work for Beeston. It's invited pressure into the circle. Chance has gone for Clifton Robinson's. Things really opening up for the visitors in front of goal. However, that all-important touch couldn't be found. Restart for Beeston. They've gone very quick towards the middle of the field and had to go through quite a number of bodies to get the ball to where it is at the moment. But who's first to that loose ball? It will be a Beeston free hit. Move the ball very quickly from the 16-metre restart all the way up to 5 or 6 away from the 23-metre line. Some space to work in. The ball in towards the circle. Nice take. Is there a chance here? It's a penalty corner. And all of that stemming from, I think, a little bit more aggressive forward play from Beeston, moving the ball into the spaces. Let's have a look at that. Nice ball towards the top of the circle, and the collection of the ball on the edge is really, really good as well. There's the quick ball, and then not waiting for the tackle to come in. It finds its way to the edge of the circle, and then look at that. First penalty corner of the second half. Beeston's second overall. Delivery's good to the edge of the circle, fired in low and hard, and it's into the back of the net. Beeston have equalised from the penalty corner. Not the cleanest of strikes, but no one's complaining about that in gold and black today. The injection is good, the trap is good, and then hit into the ground, and I think that's what deceives Alina de Visser in the Clifton Robinson's goal. Now, I think that's Mads Newitt who has scored, because the player who put the ball in the goal had number 21 on her back. However, there appears to be a couple of number 21s on the pitch, so we'll hold fire until we get official confirmation. So Beeston on level pegging. Looking to maintain their unbeaten start to the season. I'll stress again, it wasn't the prettiest of strikes. And they're in again here. And it's a defensive hit out from centimetres away from the goal line. The goal adjudicator panel has given the goal to Mads Newitt. So 1-1, second goal of the season for Mads Newitt. First from a penalty corner. It's the second goal of the season. The other one was from open play. We are level. Nice turn. Again. Ball across the face of goal, just couldn't get the touch in there. It wouldn't be unreasonable to say that in the first half, Beeston were not quite way off their best, but a couple of notches down from the performance level of last week. And they found a way to equalise. .43rd minute on BTV. Aerial ball straight to a Clifton Robinson stick, but the deflection favours Beeston. And we will get a card here, I suspect. It is a green card that has been shown. We'll see who's disappearing off. I think that's Holly Monroe, who's gone off for a 2-minute sit down. So Beeston have a player advantage. All stemming from that fortunate break of the ball. Now, there is a couple of players hovering in the circle, looking to get the touch, but that's been run out of play, a little disappointingly. The aerial ball just crosses halfway. The control may have not been the best at the concession of a free hit. Quickly towards the top of the circle on the left-hand side. Punched in towards the baseline, knocked behind, long corner. Beeston have had a lot of joy in the times that they've played the ball quickly out to the wings or straight through the middle. Quick movement is where it's been at today. To the baseline, avoiding one challenge. Did that find a foot on the way through? Umpires having a good look at it. Play continuing. Couple of touches of the ball and then finally off the foot. Holly Monroe showing the green card. Commonwealth Games player for Wales. This is neat in the middle from Beeston. It's amazing how a goal can change the mood. Reeve across the back and receives it again. This time forward, yes. Takes an important deflection from a defensive point of view for Clifton Robinsons. And they are back up to full strength again. That's concluded the green card for Holly Monroe. 11 versus 11. If you're enjoying the coverage here on BTV, do let us know. We are live on YouTube. And I know all the social media, it's just waiting for that ball to come through. That was an inviting one. Davissa happy to watch that hit the backboard. And there's a steal. Oh, so close to a steal. High up the field. And this is a better intensity from Beeston. Things aren't quite coming off, but this is a much more intense performance from the home side. More what we're used to expecting to see recently. The more pressure you can put on your opponents, the more likely a mistake will just appear. But that said, Clifton Robinsons have worked the ball very neatly towards the left-hand side of this circle here. Just outside, 3D skills in. Just lifting the ball pretty nicely to make that angle into the circle, or taking a deflection. Exchange of possession once more. Beeston, free hits here, and look at the run to defend and attack the goal at the car park end. It's almost like someone's tilted the pitch as everyone disappeared off down that end. Another occasion where the aerial hasn't come off. Beeston still in possession. Reeve stops the ball. Nice turn. And out to play. A couple of important touches on the ball. Lucy Mackey, I think that is in 1-2-1 today. Good run this, under an awful lot of pressure. We'll get through 3 defenders. 3 people trying to win the ball back off you. Ball striking the body. Nick Moss retreats. Chance here, and then turned in for 2-1 for Clifton Robinsons. Tyrrell doing well to block the initial shot, but only laying it in the path of the eventual goal scorer. We see the restart, the ball coming into the left-hand side of the circle, taken And there's the shot on the reverse side and then punched in. Jess Lee, who's had a very good game so far, credited with the second goal for Clifton Robinsons. However, the two umpires are having a discussion. So whilst play hasn't restarted, the goal isn't officially in the books. It is a goal. '50th minute. Clifton Robinsons return back into the lead. Really all stemming from that breakdown and play on the left-hand side. Kilpatrick does well. Kilpatrick again, just thinking about the restarts. Bit too much heat on that ball forward. 2.5 minutes until three-quarter time. So, can Beeston get back on level terms again? Good pace on the ball down the right-hand side, but no one was there to take it forward. And the aerial ball doesn't come off. Flicked in towards the top of the circle. Can Beeston get at the end of this? They can, but we will be coming back for a free hit, and I think it's 50-50 whether the advantage was the right option there from the Beeston perspective, but I think a free hit is one to take. You can build something from here. And then carried over the baseline. Beeston hunting around on the 23-metre line. Very neatly done by Clifton Robinsons. There is a steal, there's an interception, ball goes over the sideline. Just one goal separating the sides as we approach three-quarter time, 2-minute break in play. Clifton Robinsons looking to sneak a third in before that break in play comes off. Chance here on the left-hand side, just thinking about the shot. Block on the ground, penalty corner. This is going to be the last action of the third quarter here on BTB. Beeston 1, Clifton Robinsons 2, with a very presentable opportunity right at the end of the quarter. First penalty corner of the quarter for Clifton Robinsons. There's the restart, fired in low into the play, and then look at this, thinking about the shots, going low and then engineering a penalty corner. And you can see, judging by the numbers around the edge of the circle, time is off. It is the end of the third quarter, so Clifton Robinsons get a bit of a free hit here. They can commit as many players as they like around the edge of the circle. Beeston looking to defend this, and I think it will be important to stay within one goal here. towards the left-hand side of the circle. And it is a third for Clifton Robinsons, a very definite thud of the ball as it hits the back of the goal. And what a way to end the third quarter. A third for Clifton Robinsons. Beeston 1, Clifton Robinsons 3. A quick look at that. Again, there just seemed to be so much space in the goal to place the ball. I think it might have taken a touch on the way through. Certainly the player in the middle of that bundle getting the congratulations. I think it might be Holly Munro who has the touch that makes the difference. So with a 2-goal difference, Beeston have got a small mountain to climb to continue their unbeaten run for the season. Clifton Robinson's unbeaten run looks likely to continue. We do have 17.5 minutes still to play on BTV. Do stay with us. Quick note as well, while we're on, many thanks to Wait Less Time. With Wait Less Time, you can easily compare waiting times, patient satisfaction rates, and inspection reports of both NHS and private clinics in your area. Say goodbye to long wait times and hello to faster, more efficient healthcare with Wait Less Time. Available for free from autumn 2023. This is BTV. We'll catch our breath and bring you the final quarter of match 1 of our doubleheader. Beeston 1, Clifton Robinsons 3 on BTV. 7 to play. Welcome back to BTV. We are off and rolling for the 4th and final quarter in match 1 of our doubleheader today. Reminder, do stay with us on BTV. The second match is at 6 o'clock, Beeston men versus Southgate. A warm welcome to our friends from Southgate, who I'm presuming are sitting outside watching this as we go along. Beeston 1, Clifton Robinsons 3 is our full focus of attention now, though. Can Beeston get back on level terms and maintain their unbeaten run, or will Clifton Robinsons take all 3 points back down the M5? Ball just kept in play right in front of us here in the chapel. Great view of the close control. Rebecca Daniel, I think that is, who's right in front of the camera for Clifton Robinsons. Good battle for the ball. Beeston giving away a free hit in a very central position. Beeston sniffing around the edge of the circle. Expertly done around the edge. Armin Ansley running away with the ball. Chopped out by Grieve. Coming off the foot, but play continued. Kilpatrick twists, turns, trying to find the angle to find a teammate. Going backwards seems to be the right option at the moment. Keep possession. Changing the focal point of the press. Clifton Robinsons at the moment, that is just kept in front of the dugouts. Transfer of possession back to the visitors. Chance here, right hand side of the circle. Leahy takes a touch, plays it across the face of goal. What did that come off? Umpires having a good look at this. Long corner is the outcome, and Leahy is still down on the field off camera, now getting back to her feet, and all is okay. Penalty corner looks like the outcome. So penalty corner for Clifton Robinsons. One in every quarter of the game. Just the left of the circle, low, hard, played in. Second bite of the cherry, and it's off the goalkeeper's boots, which is appreciated by the crowd. You really can hear the applause here from the chapel. Goalkeeper equal to that shot, and Beeston will be able to clear. Good goalkeeping, standing up to the shot that was coming in. 2 goals the difference. Can Beeston find a way back into this game? Time is starting to run out. Very cheap free hit to give away, playing the ball onto your own foot. Into the circle now, chance here to hit the ball. Kilpatrick was in the right place to see that, but it's a free hit for Beeston. The aerial ball was avoided. Turnover of possession on halfway. A reminder, if you didn't hear at the start of the day, Clifton Robinsons started the day in 4th place with 4 points, a win and a draw on the board. They were also a shootout away from making it into Europe last season. There's Kilpatrick with some space to work the ball in. Turns, finds the foot. Kilpatrick doesn't waste any time. Reverse ball in towards the circle. Goalkeeper De Visser with a boot. Umpire signal, long corner. When it's really worked today for Beeston, it's all come from quick movement of the ball as conditions just take a little turn for the worse. Ball on the way through, chance, ball popping up into the body. Now, I think, understandably, there's a few questions being asked there because the ball was, you could argue, was played into the body. Not being seen that way. Pressure really starting to come from Beeston now. They know what they have to do out there. That will leave spaces at the back. Hoskins takes the ball into the circle, right onto the baseline. Goalkeeper commits. That's pretty neatly done from both sides there. Moss sweeping the ball back to Grieve. Grieve moves forward. Clifton Robinson's happy to be on the 23-metre line. The way that the defence is spread out, it makes it very difficult to go through the middle for Beeston. They're being pressed to the extremities of the field of play. Risky game to play. One missed touch takes the ball off the field. Sideline ball for Beeston, and another one. As you can see on your clock, we're about to tick into the 61st minute. An hour of play has elapsed. 10 minutes, or slightly less than that now, for Beeston to find 2 goals. Free hit into the circle, takes a touch, and who got the touch on that? It was a defensive stick. Long corner for Beeston. Couple of balls on the field of play. We are good to go again. Look at that. 3 players right at the front of the circle from Clifton Robinsons, and they've moved forward and won the ball back from that play. And Beeston having to stream back now into defence. They were committing an awful lot of players forward. Hoskins, I think this is, plays the ball forward, and it's knocked behind. Long corner. That's the end of the field. That's the corner of the field that Beeston do not want the ball to be. I don't suggest we'll see this for 9 minutes, but it's a very professional way of seeing out some of the time. Beeston trying to win that ball back. It is a very well worked. Passage of play from Clifton Robinsons. There's a half a minute gone. And ball roll back to Drysdale. Drysdale, little turn, little ball back, keeping the possession with the visitors, moving the ball, transferring it from one side of the field to the other. Chance here on the reverse. Goalkeeper kicks the ball into the air, into space. Tyrrell, the ball coming at her very awkwardly. With a restart. It's been a day where quite a few of the aerial options haven't come off when they've been introduced. So both teams keeping the ball on the ground wherever possible. Lee, who's had a very good game. Big call forward from play. Lee back into possession again. Takes a couple of touches forwards to the 23-metre line. The challenge comes in and intercepted by Beeston. Arms outstretched from Nick Moss. We are going to come back. Here is the aerial ball played and into the body, quickly forward, straight again to Clifton Robinsons. Some of the decision making not tip-top. Burrell, captain, plays the ball forward. Overlapping run is here. It's knocked back. Is there a shooting chance here? The goalkeeper's committed. It is away. And it is a Beeston ball. 6.5 minutes to play. Can Beeston get back on level terms? Can they get within 1 goal? And we'll see a grandstand finish. Another Beeston free hit. Looking out of the window here. Steph Tyrrell is the only player in the Beeston half. Scooped away from the Clifton Robinsons defence. And there's good pace even as we approach the end of the game. Turnover and a turnover and a turnover. Very... and they turn as well. Watching the umpire's reaction. It's a Beeston ball. Aerial towards the corner of the field, taken down very well, but at the expense of a sideline ball. Said that the aerial balls haven't been coming off today. Couple of challenges. Beeston again. Can they find a way into the circle? Yes, they can on the reverse, and that is wide of the upright. Everyone watching it. And who got the final touch? Must have been directly from the shot. Clifton Robinsons taking a couple of seconds to get the ball back into position. Good hustle from Beeston on the 23-metre line. There's no support there at the moment. The run is continuing. Fired in. Whose stick is first to that? It's a defensive one. Kept in play. Kuzak has done very well to nip in and progress the ball forward and engineer a free hit. Rolling and trying to find a route in. Kuzak playing the ball back, trying to change the angle via Grieve. Punches the ball straight towards a 5-metre dotted line. And a transfer over. Less than 4 minutes to play. Another aerial, which hasn't gone to script. This time, a little better from Beeston. There's space here on the right-hand side. There's the good pass. It's into the circle. Shooting opportunity here. Goalkeeper's down. And it's a defensive hit out. It was one of those name in lights moments. You saw the goal opening up. Davissa was in the right place at the right time. If that opportunity had gone in, we would have probably seen a very different final 3 minutes of the game. Still, Beeston giving it a very good go. Into the circle, and there's a big ooh from the crowd. I think we've seen Beeston starting to throw caution to the wind a little bit here. Maybe should have done that earlier in the game. Of course, I'm not out there. I think it could have been a little earlier in this final quarter when you're 2 goals down. I just can't help feeling that there's another goal between now and the end of the game. Just 2 minutes though. Beeston pressing forward. Direct route towards the top of the circle. Is there a pass on here? Yes, there is. Penalty corner, Beeston. More direct running. That's Summers who's doing good work in the middle. There's a chance, and there's the foot just immediately before that. So, first penalty corner of the 4th quarter for Beeston, their 3rd of the game. They've already scored 1. Less than 90 seconds of the game remain. The delivery is good. It's swept in low and away. It will come back though. Beeston first to that. The intensity has suddenly gone up a couple of notches. Long corner. And it's a defensive hit. We're into the final minute. I think it's fair to say that Clifton Robinsons will be taking all 3 points with them. Can Beeston get another goal before the end of the game? I think their endeavour in the last couple of minutes possibly deserves to be rewarded with a goal. However, I don't think that's going to come now. Seconds remain in match 1 of our double-header. In fact, not even that. There is no time left at all. Play is over in the first match of the day. Beeston 1, Clifton Robinsons 3. Final score. Eloise Leahy on the 8th minute. And then we waited until Mads Newitt with a penalty corner equaliser on 40 to square things up. It didn't stay even for long. Jess Lee with a goal on 50, and then 3 minutes later, Libby Hoskins getting a third. Clifton Robinsons move on to 7 points for the season. Beeston remain on 6, but it's a first defeat of the season for Beeston. Just a little bit too little too late in my view. The intensity that came in the final few minutes just wasn't there earlier in the game, and I think it's overall a deserved 3 points for the visitors today. So there's the first of our 2 fixtures on BTV. Beeston 1, Clifton Robinsons 3. What we will have in a couple of minutes' time is the second game of the day. Beeston versus Southgate in the men's Premier Division. We'll have a look around as well at the scores from the women's matches earlier in today. I think because all of the men's games are starting at 6 o'clock today or thereabouts. We'll see if we can get you any of the results from the women's competition and update the scoreboard with that. So with that, we'll break off for a few moments and give you some pages from Lee. Thanks. But this is neat from the visitors, and then very, very calmly done into the goal. Looks like a very, very calm finish from Phoebe Richard. From the 16-metre restart all the way up to 5 or 6 away from the 23-metre line. Some space to work in. The ball in towards the circle. Nice take. Is there a chance here? It's a penalty corner, and all of that stemming from Beeston's second overall. Delivery's good to the edge of the circle, fired in low and hard, and it's into the back of the net. Beeston have equalised from the penalty corner. Striking the body. Nick Moss retreats. Chance here, and then turned in for 2-1 for Clifton Robinsons. Towards the left-hand side of the circle. And it is a third for Clifton Robinsons. A very definite thud of the ball as it hits the back. Welcome back to BTV. We are live from the chapel by the side of pitch 1 at Nottingham Hockey Centre. We're halfway through a double header, a bumper feast of hockey for you today. Beeston versus Clifton Robinsons in the Vitality Women's Premier Division was our first match of the day. I'm Andy Day in the hot seat. Next to me is Steve Musson, and we're about to tuck into Beeston versus Southgate in the Men's Premier Division.
Good evening, Andy.
Good evening to you. Quick look out of the window and it makes you feel grateful we're inside because conditions have taken a turn for the worse.
Yes.
So what have we got today? Let's have a quick look at the table. So all the matches in the men's competition starting at 6 o'clock today. So this is the Women's Premier Division table. We do have the men's one coming up for you in a couple of moments. Just on that note, due to the results that we got in the women's competition, top of the table are Bowden in the Vitality Women's Premier Division. But as the teams make their way out, today's match umpires, Robert Brownbridge and Mason Wright, are your officials in blue today. There we have the men's Premier Division. Wimbledon topping the table, Holcombe, Surbiton and Old Georgians all on 6 points. However, there's 2 unbeaten records gone already in that top 4. There was Holcombe Old Georgians on Thursday night. I understand that was a very popular one.
Yeah.
And so looking at the rest of the table, you couldn't get much closer. Both teams, Southgate and Beeston, on 3 points. 1 goal in goal difference separates them. I think there's only 1 goal scored different. Beeston have scored 7, Southgate have scored 6. I think there's 2 difference in the goals conceded mark as well. Beeston in white, black and yellow today, and Southgate in red, black and red as traditional. If we have the opportunity, if we can have a quick look at the league history for the 2 teams as well. It's an interesting look to how things pan out. Southgate started with the win of the very first league competition back in 88-89.
Remember that well.
You can see there's a couple of relegations from both sides, but there's a spell where Southgate were bouncing up and down between the top 2 divisions when Beeston got their 3 championships as well.
That's right, and obviously going back to the 87-88 time, the Olympic Games, and a lot of the players at Southgate at that time, Sean Curley and the like, were part of that team.
So that is the way, that's given you your history, that's given you your setup. Let's look at today and the teams. Beeston starting with, we have Taylor Craigie in goal.
We do.
We also have a couple of switches around as well. The numbers I don't think are quite there as we'd expect for Beeston, but we'll work our way through them.
Early kit issues again, Andy. I think just all clubs trying to get themselves sorted and properly numbered. And
also we can have a quick look at Southgate, who've had a very busy summer in the transfer market as well. Anton van Logrenberg from South Africa, one of the South African internationals, and also probably the big draw, Will Calnan, all the way from Hampstead and Westminster.
Yes, came along with Quan Brown as he moved from player coach from Hampstead, and
well, I do know
with him.
This is the 2nd season though at Southgate for Quan Brown.
Yes,
so
that's right.
It's not a new transfer.
And Will went this year, so.
And also it's a relatively quick return for Rowan Bowie moving to Southgate in the summer from Beeston.
Yes.
And there's a couple of other familiar faces from around these parts. Archie Foster has moved to Southgate from University of Nottingham.
Yeah.
So yes, it's been a very busy summer of transfer activity for Southgate. Beeston, though, they've got quite a few new faces in the side as well. There's a couple that you were pointing out to me off air as well.
Yes, I'm just looking at the starting 11. Jack Stamp there on the forward line. You can see him as the highest forward at the moment, 16 years old. He's come through our development system right from the bottom to the top. And he's playing his first game today, which is an absolute triumph for him. Great player.
So, just to mark your card, a Southgate in the red, black and red, defending the Boulevard end. Quan Brown, you can see just to the right of your picture, very composed, always. Yes. Last time I saw him play in person, it was the Southgate big day out. He scored a penalty stroke that day back in the
I think he scored a penalty stroke in the league this year already, hasn't he? He's pretty precise with his basics, is Kwan.
And also defying age as well.
Yes, that's right.
We won't mention his age, but yes, it's a surprise. Might be worth a quick look to Wikipedia. Beeston, though, started strongly. There's a good zip about the game, and the conditions, I think, may be helping too.
Yeah, I think it's going to be competitive. I mean, as you just said, Andy, that's the way that they are at the moment. I mean, both sides look sort of a similar standard. Beeston will be confident after last week's win against East Grinstead. Hard-fought game, 3-3 at one point, and managed to win it 5-3 in the end. So I've given a bit of confidence today.
Bright from Beeston, playing towards the left-hand side of the circle. Nice turn. Is there an ability to get the ball across further along? It's sure that's gone over the baseline, but we have a penalty corner. Obviously, the umpire a lot closer to it than me.
Yeah, and a deliberate attempt there to win a penalty corner. Not much else that could be done there. Very tight and tightly marked, right on the baseline towards the edge of the D. Best thing you can do in that situation, put it on a foot.
I'm interested to see this again because it did look like it was over the line there for a second, but maybe, there we go, just being brought back, maybe.
Yeah,
or was
that's
that
right. That's Jack Stamp with his first little foray into the D in the Beeston first team, and he's won a penalty corner for his team, which is one of the things he specialised in as he's gone through the different levels of the club. Very good forward, good basics, and intent on winning penalty corners.
So what's in the Beeston locker today?
Yeah, good early start point of the game to get your first penalty corner. I see Jamie Rawlings there setting up.
Southgate struggling to get the bits and bobs out the bag.
Yeah. There we go.
Little shuffle, looks good, and that's a beautiful opening goal.
Well, this is Jamie Rawlings, as we mentioned him last week, his foray down under and his tally of goals from penalty corners, and you can see why, his ferocious flicks. I think that has taken a touch on the way through, but nevertheless the power has just seen it into the roof of the net. Great start for Beeston.
Good also to see how quickly Southgate were out, but yeah, that looked like, I think it was Ali Richmond who was close to it, but he was off to congratulate Jamie Rawlings there, so it didn't take a touch as far as we could tell.
Yeah, and it just shows you the rewards of winning penalty corners. Jack Stamp took his time to get that penalty corner, and the result is a goal, so a huge assist from him. Beeston working very hard to repossess the ball. This was an area last week against East Grinstead where East Grinstead made quite a lot of progress down Beeston's, down Southgate's right-hand side to the Beeston left-hand side of the pitch, and I think during the week they've worked on that, trying to cut off that line of attack.
That's a nice slide and interception.
Yeah, good work, good intent from the Beeston players at the moment to win the 50-50s, get good levels of possession.
There's a little bit of pushing and shoving. I think that might be related to the player who's gone to ground.
It's Robbie Gleeson, I think, on the floor, and Henry Croft doesn't really need to get involved with that. Last thing he wants is a card for reacting.
Umpire's right on it as well.
Yeah. You
were saying a week ago Henry Croft gets more powerful every week. I think we're seeing an example of that. Yeah.
I know, it's about channeling it in the right directions, I think. A nice bit of build-up play from Beeston, just feeding that ball around.
There's a nice turn as Stanley was offering. He's gone inside and continued his run. Here he is. And that just tapped away from a very promising position on the edge of the circle. First time the Southgate foray with a ball towards halfway on our right-hand side. Quick note as well, Bev Deakin is today's match official. She's done back-to-back games. This ball is slung towards the edge of the circle, and Beeston mop it on pretty well.
Yeah, definitely. But making sure that you trap that ball in that situation, little bobbly aerial, making sure that you get behind it, good basics, and then you can go to a calm phase of play and possession of the ball, nicely feeding it around.
I don't know how much you saw of the previous game, Beeston women versus Clifton Robinsons, but I think that the calmness under pressure that Clifton Robinsons had and their game plan was very, very good to watch. So that maybe it's something that's been impressed on the Beeston men. You need to be calm in possession. You don't rush things.
Yeah, and it's having that change of tempo as well, Andy, from flat out at certain times to being calm in possession on others. That's fortunately fallen quite well for Beeston.
And there's a free hit.
A lot of pressure coming from Southgate. Obviously decided to get high up the pitch. 4 or 5 Southgate players there pressing the 2 Beeston centre backs. Bit of intent. They're not going to sit back and just let Beeston play around them. It's going to be a lot of energy in the work rate. That's Alan Richmond on the ball.
There's an important touch. Beeston looking pretty, very purposeful. That was the word I was looking for.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, just a little bit of a miss pass there. Picked up nicely by Southgate. Tracking back and defending well. Quan Brown settling into this driving role that he's had at so many teams over so many years, just leading the thing on.
Sometimes, as we're watching Beeston mop up with this, his start moment in the game is almost metronomic. The ball keeps coming back to him. He keeps moves going. Starts moves, and he's been bypassed, and then you can see picking the ball up and flicking it into space.
Yeah.
Very calm under pressure. Southgate moving it down. Matt Ramshaw now turns, tries to lift the ball up and looks for something, and Beeston get
too high. That's been lifted into the player, so away from Beeston again.
Griffiths towards Richmond. Richmond considers going aerial, actually shovels the ball along the sideline. Griffiths fortunate.
Fallen well for him.
Really close towards Richmond, who continued his run. And Beeston looking good value with 7 minutes on the board.
Yeah, that's right. It's an intent to start quickly and make sure that they get plenty of possession high up the pitch. Been in the D a couple of times. Henry Croft a minute ago just running directly towards the D. Unfortunately just got tackled by good retreat work from Southgate, but it's an obvious intent to attack. And I think they feel more comfortable playing that style of hockey anyway.
Nice aerial ball, well taken down. Play continuing, flicked in on the shot on the reverse, and
swing and a miss from number 11.
There's Taylor Craigie in the Beeston goal, getting his first look at the ball of the game as well.
Yeah, Matthew Ramshaw in a good free position there. If he connected with that, could have been a different outcome, but he didn't connect with the ball.
Stars almost aligned, didn't it,
yes,
for a huge meaty swing.
Good basics, good skills. That's
so close.
Nearly connected.
Stellini, captain. We understand. Can't see a band on Stellini, but we'll have a look in a minute. A couple of familiar faces returning, I think, for Southgate today. I think apologies if I've got this wrong, but I understand it's the first feature of the season for Farini and Teague Marcano today as well.
I think that's right, yeah. Nice little feed of the ball into midfield there, just turned over by Beeston. There's a lot of good defensive work from Southgate. They've stopped 2 or 3 of Beeston's attacks already. Play fairly deep, but having said that, as soon as that ball goes forward like it does now, they're after it, so yeah, that's felt like that was the forwards ball in that situation, and the Beeston player encroached in his space, so it's a restart for Southgate.
Very hopeful waft of the stick towards the ball as it went through the air as well. Powerful down the right hand side for Southgate. Is there a chance to get the ball in from here? The run is pretty strong, but Beeston come away with
defense.
The ball.
Yeah, good defense on the reverse stick. Beeston a bit of an escape route.
Is that flicking the ball away? From Jack Middleton.
See, Southgate obviously putting plenty of players around Henry Croft, but Henry's gone off, so a substitute. He's run out of steam already at 9 minutes. Probably about right. Hard work for forwards. It's constant movement from them needed to press, step out, and then to retrace the steps back into defensive shape. Very, very hard.
It's a much better feeling if you've got service, and as we can see, the ball is up towards the baseline. Let's look a long corner for Beeston. If you're ploughing a lonely furrow, it's a different feeling to receiving the ball every couple of minutes.
Yeah.
You feel like you're getting rewarded for your efforts.
That's right. This doesn't look like they can get to the Southgate D reasonably easily. It's just whether they can have good enough possession up there to create shots from penalty corners. We've seen one already. It's a deep ball, deep outlet ball for a recycle. Robbie Gleeson on the right.
Punches it towards the right-hand side of the circle. Nice idea, but no one there.
Yeah, that's a good example, really. The ball transferred around from the back, and the forward having to work very hard to lead up front, and it was too big a distance to cover for Henry Croft, so the ball went off the back. Just dropping off a bit defensively now towards their own half. Just regrouping, staying in shape.
Triangles starting to form for Southgate, and free hit in a promising position, and played very quickly into the centre. Look at this, no pressure on Middleton, who plays the ball in. There's a slip, and it's allowed Southgate in outside the circle. Who's quickest to it? And that's hit the frame of the goal from Ramshaw, who was onto that like a train.
Yes, he outpaced Panassar to the ball. The leg race was quicker by the Southgate forward, something just to be aware of a bit. Pacey up front, just make sure that they can stay the right side of the attacker.
As Southgate are building on the back. We're watching it in the chapel today on a much bigger screen than usual, and for that, thank you, Mum. And I know you're watching.
So here we go again. Beeston just dropping back off a bit, really, just deciding to drop into the half-court press position where they're defending their own half. Gives Southgate a bit more room to transfer the ball, but everybody from Beeston is in shape, not really stepping out. So you can see the space that Southgate have. That's where they want to.
That's two occasions.
Again, two missed traps, and that's.
Goalkeeper Craig Taylor, spread eagle, trying to block the ball across. I don't think it reached him. I think it was blocked before he got to the goalkeeper.
It was a stick trap, but it just shows you a fairly innocuous little mistrap on the edge of the D can become a venomous shot at the goalkeeper. So getting your basics right, very important.
Huge scream.
Quan Brown obviously happy to use the aerial fully in the knowledge that it can be an advantage to the forward if he's in space first. Beeston stepping out on that, and just Toby Stanley coming away with the ball. Yeah, sometimes it's just good enough to put it on a foot just to take some of the heat out of the opposition's press, and Toby Stanley just found a foot there, and this has allowed Beeston to slow down the tempo, just take a bit of time and regroup. Having had two missed traps on the edge of the D, they'll probably be just talking about that a bit. Fine. And that's not a very good play out through the midfield, easily picked off.
Chance here. Goalkeeper's done well to block that, but he's been committed, and that's been flung out towards Toby Stanley, who's under a bit of pressure here. He's done very well. Released the pressure. There's an outlet ball, and that's going to run towards the 23-metre line.
A little bit ahead of Jack Stamp. But Barraj Panassar with the ball in the middle of the pitch for Beeston just didn't connect at all with that, and it went straight to a Southgate stick. And then, of course, so you see three instances of danger being created, mostly by the Beeston players, and Southgate could take advantage of that. Another massive aerial, but I mean, Quan Brown obviously capable of throwing really accurate, good aerials, so Beeston are going to have to make sure that they position themselves correctly, make sure that they're in shape first, as they did there.
Also, a quick word about the new floodlights as well, because they're illuminating the pitch beautifully.
Yeah, I think they've been cranked up to full blast tonight, so bearing in mind the conditions. But an equally big aerial from Jamie Rawlings there, probably 3/4 of the pitch distant.
Half-time entertainment sorted. Jamie Rawlings versus Quan Brown, who can sling the ball furthest. And accurately.
Yes.
I wonder what we're going to see here. That's a little punch ball forward towards Farini.
See, Beeston happy to sit quite deep defensively. Probably safer than knowledge they think they can mop up these attacks, which they've done so far. But there comes a time when you probably need to be a little bit more threatening with your press, and I'm sure that'll happen soon.
Quarter of an hour gone on BTV. Beeston lead by a goal to nil. Jamie Rawlings with a penalty corner early on in the game. 1 penalty corner, 1 goal.
Another huge aerial thrown by Jamie Rawlings, and missed by, let's see who that was actually, but put Southgate on the right hand side in a bit of space. A few little connections needed.
Interception is no good, and it will be a free hit just inside the 23.
And a bit of a quick start there, put them in a good place, but they've not controlled the ball very well.
That said, it's still live and then turned towards goal and out of play. Looking at the dive out of the very left-hand side of the picture, and it sounded like there was a thump or something.
Yeah, it did. You couldn't quite see what happened, but obviously
must have gone out of
quick-fire
play.
shot off there that, for the looks of it, was pretty close to being on target. Beeston just getting caught a couple of times here on the right-hand side, and need to be a little bit more particular about their outletting and getting the ball beyond the 23 and into safe hands further up the pitch.
Sometimes you don't get a feel for the game until right at the end, and sometimes you can see a few patterns and also a few standout players.
Yeah,
I can tell already Ramshaw is very much involved and fancies this.
Definitely, yeah. He's one to be watched in there, busy in the D. Beeston against Jack Stamp on the ball, just finding his way out. Easy route, but simple, put it on the foot. His team a bit of time to set up again.
Just looking at the other end of the field, another huge aerial ball. I knew that was coming because I was looking at the player who was trying to really hamper Anton van Lokkelenboog.
Yeah, and then we have the quarter time. So, I mean, apart from the penalty corner, Andy, it's been fairly even, and Southgate's build-up play when Beeston have gone into a deeper defensive setup has been quite good, quite effective. He's put them in the D 2 or 3 times and a couple of shots and moments that were risky for the Beeston defence, but broadly speaking, Beeston have managed to mop up most of those attacks safely, and a good change of the tempo as well, and I think that's something they want to keep going throughout the game.
Both teams looking for a second win of the season, and Beeston going about it pretty well at the moment. Beeston 1, Southgate 0, 17.5 minutes gone. There's definitely more goals in this.
Yes, I think that's right.
The real effort is going to be stopping them rather than creating them.
Yes, yeah. And of course, the other thing, Andy, looking at the position of Southgate and Beeston, the winner of this is going to take a decent leap. You know, getting up to 6 points after 3 games is a good place to be.
It is indeed. Whilst the teams are in their huddle, just to see if we can get that league table back up again, if we can, just to really reiterate the point. 6th and 7th at the start of the day. All the fixtures in the men's competition today starting at 6 o'clock or later. So this is as it was at the start of play. And you're right, it'll be a big jump forward and towards the top of the league. It's still very, very early days, of course.
It is,
but
that's right.
It starts to shape your season, how your first game's set out.
I think that does, and I think, you know, if you can get a couple of wins in their first 3 games, then it does build that confidence. It helps you straight away to be away from that scrap at the bottom that starts early in the season anyway. And you can just, you know, play with that confidence in your next 2 or 3 games after.
There is this is a cynical way of looking at it, but the season splits after 11 games, and the top 6 play each other, the bottom 6 play each other. It's great for the top teams because they have more difficult games against the opposition that will give them sterner tests, and the teams at the bottom will play each other, and the bottom 4 will go into a relegation tournament.
Yes.
Take the points forward. If you can game the system, if you finish 7th, you will play against the 5 lower teams than you and still be in the box seat to be in the top 8 teams to go in the final round of the season. I'm not saying anyone will do that, but if that was me, I'd definitely choose that.
That's right. It would make you look at the league table at a point in the season, wouldn't it, just to see where you could finish if you were in that sort of zone. Just noticed there Henry Croft getting very high in the D. Just taking a bit of a risk in case the defender misses the ball, would leave him free. You want nobody else on the ball other than Henry Croft if he's got space in the D with the power of his hit. But these aerials from Con Brown are accurate and pretty huge, quite high.
And the way they drop, they give the attacker or the player, the receiving player, time to settle themselves as well, because it's dropping like a stone in precision areas.
Just wonder whether something a bit flatter and more of a pass from time to time might work. This is dangerous with Southgate getting on that right hand side again.
Umpire Brownbridge voguing his way to giving that signal.
Just outside the D, so Beeston making sure all players are covered. Lots of tight man marking going on in the D from the defenders. Not trying to leave any spaces at all, and that's a good tackle. Baraj Panasar neatly taking that away.
Nudged out of play though.
But unfortunate, nearly an escape down the left-hand side, but obviously gone off the side.
Middleton looks forward, decides that Brown is the best option, who plays it out to the right-hand side. Southgate consolidating across the back, but they've notably moved over the halfway line now. They're looking to attack and probe and find a way towards the circle. And they found some space on the left-hand side. Decent block, and what's the clearance like?
Yeah, just a little bit. I'm just wondering whether Beeston are dropping a little bit too deep. It is inviting quite a bit of pressure on, and Southgate having the time to shape their build-up play, because there's no real pressure on their deepest players as they transfer that ball. Oh, and that's dispossession. Balraj Panasar.
Sofat around the edge of the circle, finding a way through it and finding a foot.
Southgate arguing that was inside the D, but looked like it was right on the edge to me. So
yeah,
yes, he's given a corner this end, I think. Oh no, well, he was. It looked to me like he was pointing penalty corner, but Beeston come away safely with that now, so that's taking a little bit of pressure off. But that's just too easy, because the defence are progressing. Beeston defence progressing forward, all given away like that. Everybody's caught out of shape.
Talking about being caught out, we weren't sure at all now how the play was going to be restarted.
No.
What is certain though is there's a ball right on the edge of the circle that's been won by Beeston, and there's a potential for a counter here down Beeston's left-hand side. Southgate moved back in unison and trying to block the route towards goal, but it's over the 23-metre line, taken forward. It's still good, the running is powerful, and the arms outstretched looking for a foul.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, so far Beeston have defended these Southgate attacks well, but there are a few little creaky moments when in actual fact they've not been clinical enough, and it does present little opportunities. We've seen the shot that we believe was on target. We just need to take a little bit more care, and I'd rather see them just not be quite so deep in defence at times.
That particular area of the pitch, I think, is going to be a flashpoint. I've just seen quite a few lumps and bumps and pushes and shoves and all sorts. So, and it's also the furthest point away from where the umpires are.
Yes.
So one to keep an eye open for.
Well, Southgate having all the pressure in the Beeston half at the moment, and a few times it's got out of the Beeston half. It's not stayed there long enough.
In towards
That's
the circle.
dangerous position.
Coming off the goalkeeper, right place, right time.
Still fallen well for Beeston, who've done very well to get that out of there.
Lobbed. Look at that control out of the air.
Oh.
I wonder why that wasn't play on.
I think Toby Stanley disappointed there, having plucked the ball out of the air so well. Now that's fallen. I thought they'd fallen quite nicely.
And another player goes to ground in that corner of the field. It's like an extra gravity bar.
Gareth Griffith's been pushed over that time. Tough game, hockey. A lot more collisions than you think.
Quick word, we did mention him last week, but we'll give him more airtime this week. The new goalkeeper for Beeston, Taylor Craigie.
Yes.
Might have had fun this week because we put him up as Craigie Taylor
We did,
last week,
yes.
and apologies for that. But yes, he's here from New Zealand. He was a New Zealand junior player, and part of his role is to fit the solar panels for the clubhouse.
That's
I'm
right.
sure the solar panels won't be doing very much good today.
No.
Because it's
Don't think he's on any deadlines at the minute.
lofted ball. Is it kept in? No, it must have just
Yeah,
grazed out.
See, forwards trying to work this rule now to their best advantage. I mean, Henry Croft arguing that he should have been given the time to bring that under control, but he didn't really control it that well, so that's probably what the umpire looked at. Walnut 3 players closing down the Walnut ball, but they've managed to make a good connection into an inside left channel, and that's fallen free.
Space in the circle. What did that hit?
Penalty
It was
That's straight onto Robbie Gleeson's foot. So this is my only slight concern, that we've looked at you look at the pattern of play that you see, and the last sort of 10 minutes Southgate have been making more of these types of connections. Missed trap there from Robbie Gleeson. Oh, and it was I think it was Ali Richmond's foot. Yeah, so
What's interesting when we get to see the replay again at half time, just watching the runner who was nearest the penalty spot just hold back and then dash forward.
Yeah.
Nice running from the forward for Southgate.
yeah. They won't, if they get the chances, they'll be doing the right things, because they'll be drilled. Quan Brown will drill them to do the right things in the D. So if Beeston mistrap stuff, or if they allow Southgate to make those passes, they'll probably be higher forward in a dangerous place. So some quality defending needed for Beeston to keep this tight. This is a difficult moment. The kit being put on in advance.
Yeah, not pleasant to put the wet gear on straight out of the bag, is it? So I think just taking a little bit of additional time. The clock continues to run. No, it doesn't. We've just had the stoppage signal come in. So we'll take a little bit of time to make sure everything's all right. Looking at the Southgate goal scorers, Archie Foster's top scorer with 2, but Quan Brown, Will Calnan, Richmond Lum and Daniel West all have a goal apiece.
Yeah. Looks like Henry Croft's going to be running number 1 here, so it will be his intention to run straight at the flicker. See if he can trap the ball.
Delivery's
Injection.
good. Powered in for the equaliser. 2 goals coming from penalty corners, both of them delightful finishes.
Yes, definitely, and I think we have to say that this has been coming from Southgate's point of view. The build-ups have been steady, patient. Beeston just getting trapped a bit deep at times, which has allowed the Southgate forwards into the D, and of course we saw the penalty corner. That's nice to take. And
Marcano, number 18, with the goal taking the congratulations.
well, that's a shame really, because I think that the energy that we saw in the first quarter from Beeston just drained away a little bit in that quarter. So it was definitely his quarter to date, and that's nicely pinched.
Into the circle, what have we got?
Yeah, Henry Croft thought that he got that cleanly then, but and he's going to get a speaking to. He doesn't need a green card, so
Just an application of the rules. It's like, if I've got my stick down this low,
yes. So it's become a very even battle now, and Beeston need to just start to assert themselves again like they did in that first quarter. Spend a little bit more time in Southgate's half, I think. So again, straight back into that deeper defensive setup, giving Quan Brown a lot of time to look where he might put the ball for the most effect. Connected again, and in the D.
that was well mopped up at the back by Robbie Gleeson, who's gone to ground.
Yeah, well, there's going to be a card for that, I think, because it looked. Yeah, I think the umpire thinks that was a deliberate move.
Green card confirmed, but we're not seeing anyone take a seat yet, which is interesting. Who's gone off?
Can't see. Oh, that's fallen to Henry Croft. Oh, it's got under it. I thought for a minute that was going to be on target, but he's just got a bit too much under that. It's quite high over the bar. Shame, really, because he'd won the ball behind the defender.
We're hearing it's Will Calden who's been shown the green card, but I'll reiterate, we can't see anyone sitting down on suspension benches.
Oh, that's strange. I thought that should have been the other way, but never mind. Well, yeah, lots of questioned decisions at the moment from both teams. Sometimes tells you that the players might be right.
More distance played in and taken down by Stolini. Southgate looking very sharp as they approach the 23-metre line again.
They've definitely grown into this and exerting some pressures now on Beeston. And I think it's a possession thing from Beeston's point of view. They're not holding on to the ball for long enough periods of time. And so they're not really able to expand as a unit.
Just close to being touched by the foot. Croft looks to run through, and Croft is incensed.
I mean, that's just hit a foot. It's just as clear as a bell. Right outside the window, hit a foot. It's the moments like that I mean, obviously the umpire won't have seen it, but probably should have done, because it's close to him.
I wonder how the players will deal with this. It's a high-pressure game. Very early in the season, there's a misplaced pass. Beeston will have it, and there's overlap on the right-hand side.
Yeah, that is quite a good position.
Punched in. What did that come off? We've got a stoppage.
Lots of issues with decisions here, and obviously for both teams, they're questioning a lot of what the umpires are giving.
It looks like we'll be restarting with a free hit outside of the circle.
Yeah, it looks like that, yes. Dangerous position though, so Beeston just need to just focus on this. Robbie Gleeson's having a long conversation here, so. That's quite easily taken by Quinn Brown. So it's just come to nothing really.
I must say we've got two very experienced umpires on this match, just like we did in the previous one as well.
Yeah, and again,
a lot of hockey.
Yes, and again, no sign of a Beeston high press at the moment. And the use of the aerial again. Now the forward clearly in front of the defender there, and the defender closes the space for the receiving forward, and that's an offence. So that's why the whistle's been blown.
Saw a touch on the ball, wrong boot, number 22 in the red, making a quick return back to Beeston after a summer move. Oh, flicked away. It will come back with interest. There's a turn, there's a chop, and there's a smash of the two sticks hitting each other, and that's gone the way of Southgate.
Yeah, I think, again, not winning enough of the 50-50 battles at the minute. Beeston just falling behind the stats for Southgate, so something they need to just work up a bit, really. Tracking the ball well there. Now, this is where I feel that they need to make sure that they...
Look at this. Here's the power. Here's the run. The goalkeeper's come a long way, and that's a huge collision. And time is off. Time is off. Time is off.
Well, the ball just got ahead of Henry Croft, and he's straight line running to the goalkeeper. Didn't see him trying to do a lot with the ball, in actual fact. So the collision was quite powerful. He's obviously got ahead of Quinn Brown.
I think it was a slide to keep possession of the ball, and I think he's making a point the ball was there to be played for.
Yes.
But it wasn't, on reflection, the best of options.
No, that's right. So again, a little moment goes away from Beeston's possession higher in the pitch. Very quickly back into the same pattern with Southgate, just transferring it around the back. Thinking whether to use an aerial. Missing the player out and getting that over to the left touch line. There's that little aerial this time into a easy receipt, using the aerial as a pass. Very neat. Yeah, quite good connections, but Just having to do the most of the defending at the moment.
Archie Foster looking to make a little jab tackle. Knocks the ball out of play on the far side. Must say these 32 minutes that we've had so far pretty much have rocketed.
They have whizzed by, yes.
There's a nice turn.
It's past his man.
Gleeson gets the free hits.
Yeah, I prefer to see Robbie playing when he's a bit edgy and annoyed with stuff. You get some good performances out of him, and his pace can be quite telling as well.
I've got a suspicion, I can feel it in my waters, we will see some big cards as this game continues. But we'll
feisty in parts, isn't it?
So Price is right. So no, just play your cards right. There we go. Huge.
That's fallen loose again. A few little sloppy moments in the midfield by both teams. Just not really holding on to the ball as often as they should. That's a pretty straightforward route into the D for Ali Richmond if he gets this bit right.
I think the angle was there a few seconds before for a diagonal ball into the circle. He's played himself into a difficulty.
He has.
Long corner though. He's done well from where he's got to, but there was a better option earlier.
Yes, I think he just missed that chance and then ended up being pinned in the corner, but decent restart position from the long corner.
Punched in.
Yeah, good solid defence from Southgate again.
Goal scorer Marcano right in front of us.
Yeah, good little bit of a tussle there. Ali Richmond coming away with that one. Jamie Rawlings using the aerial. Where's that gone? Yeah, it's just nicely taken down by.
Oh, so close to being intercepted.
I know, it looked like it, didn't it?
But it has been intercepted. Beeston have got the ball. We're back in their own half, and this game, to say it's stretched is actually pretty fair, isn't it? Because it's not end to end, but there's space all over the pitch that two teams are really battling it out for. Chance in a circle. Who's got the touch? Long corner.
Yeah, it's just come off a Southgate stick for a long corner. Just looking at the clock, it'd be a useful time to win a penalty corner now from this position. Neat little aerial.
Bounce once, twice, trapped, punched in towards the circle, but then it's been blocked away. Beeston ball. Minute to play in the first half. Nice.
To get that into. Very intricate little bit of work going on down there. Didn't quite come to anything.
Karen Suffolk got totally bypassed, and there's a very pleasant little ball forward.
Yeah, very useful.
Marcano, whose run is held up, and everyone's all best friends at the end of that. And that is the end of the first half. It is 1-1. Tale of two penalty corners, both exquisite finishes.
Yes.
Jamie Rawlings on 3 and Teague Marcano for Southgate on the 26th. You can't tell which way this game's going to go.
No, it's very even at the moment, and you know, both sides will be wary of giving away penalty corners. It looks like the most obvious type of route to get a goal at the moment. A few little chances open play. Henry Crofts had one. Or one or two in actual fact. Matthew Ramshaw for Southgate, a couple of little chances and a big shot which needed to be saved. So,
whilst we're having a chat with the umpires and officials at half time, take control of your healthcare with Wait Less Time. You can easily compare waiting times, patient satisfaction rates, and inspection reports of both NHS and private clinics in your area. Say goodbye to long wait times and hello to faster, more efficient healthcare with Wait Less Time, available for free from autumn 2023. Elsewhere, I can tell you there's been a goal in the match between Surbiton and Holcombe, and it's Phil Roper who has given Holcombe the lead. That's the latest score that we have there. It's also end of quarter 1, Wimbledon 0, Old Georgians 0. That is as much as we know. In fact, Chris Proctor has scored for Old Georgians. Wimbledon 0, Old Georgians 1. Thanks so much to the other teams for your tweeting, your social media updates. It helps the flow of information for everybody else who's trying to work out what's going on. Mentioning information at half time, it's time for some pages from BFACS.
Against East Grinstead, hard-fought game, 3-all at one point, and managed to win it 5-3 in the end. So I've given a bit of confidence today.
Bright from Beeston playing towards the left-hand side of the circle. Nice turn. Is there an ability to get the ball across further along? It's sure that's gone over the baseline, but we have a penalty corner. Obviously, the umpire a lot closer. Southgate struggling to get the bits and bobs out of the bag.
Yeah. There we go.
Little shuffle. Looks good. And that's a beautiful opening goal.
Well, this is Jamie Rawlins, as we mentioned him last week. His foray down under and his tally. That's probably what the umpire looked at. All at 3 players closing down the one on the ball, but they've managed to make a good connection into the inside left channel, and that's fallen free.
Space in the circle. What did that hit?
Penalty corner. That's straight onto Robbie Gleeson's foot. Looks like Henry Croft's going to be running number 1 here, so it will be his intention to run straight at the flicker. See if he can trap the ball.
Delivery's good. Powered in for the equaliser. 2 goals coming from penalty corners, both of them delightful finishes. Welcome back to BTV. The teams have been in for their half-time talking to. I think both teams either need to dial up the enthusiasm or dial it down. But
Yes.
we're not quite sure which direction it's going to go in the second half. Beeston are level with Southgate by a goal apiece. Teague Marcano scoring for Southgate, equalising Jamie Rawlings' penalty corner earlier in the first quarter. What would the message be to the team, Steve?
Well, I'd be keen to think that Beeston would actually talk about pressing a little higher. I think they've brought a few of the problems on themselves by dropping too deep at times, and that's given Southgate a lot of time to build up and become stronger in that last quarter. And of course, we saw the number of attacks that they managed to create and the penalty corners. Southgate probably much of the same, really, because they have been able to get to the Beeston D quite regularly. They'll be fairly comfortable with the way that Beeston are playing, I think. Aerials are useful from both teams, but Quan Brown is particularly accurate with his.
Full start on the second half. We are good to go on the second time. And an unusual start to the second half. Inviting pressure and already.
Again,
it's been an exchange of possession in 13 seconds of the game, which is in the second half.
Yeah, very important phase just after half time. You know, you want to assert yourself one way, well, in every way possible, really, and one of those ways is to get on top of the possession stats quickly.
It is increasingly filthy here in Nottinghamshire. As you can see, the rain starting to lash down. We've got viewers all the way round the world on BTV. We've got viewers in the bar here at Nottingham Hockey Centre, and I'm also pretty sure we've got viewers in the clubhouse at Southgate as well. So if you're watching, do say hello on social media. It's been a very enjoyable first half of hockey. Another flick ball down the left-hand side, but that one will come to nothing.
So I do think the conditions, when it gets as wet as this, it can start to have an effect. You know, holding onto the stick, balance, all those kind of things come into play. You just have to take a bit more care with the stuff that you do. Dangerous position here for Southgate.
And that's through. Goalkeeper's having to do a job here, but we will come back. That was such a good opportunity.
Yeah, and again, trying to keep these Southgate attacks down, number-wise, is something that Beeston have got to get to grips with. Again, it's falling to, seems the 50-50s as well. Falling to Southgate a little bit more than to Beeston. Again, dangerous down this right-hand side.
Sofat with a pace, and then watching that one run out of play. There's a very good pace about the Southgate side that Beeston have been equal to in the main.
Yeah. Just a little sign that Beeston need to just step up a little bit. There's another example. That's not a very good release ball. Puts them straight back under pressure again. And again, little connections from Southgate.
And through all the way.
Yeah, and often you do find that in games that teams ebb and flow a bit, particularly when the matches are even. You'll get a patch where you're doing very well and the other team struggle a bit. Beeston needs to try and find a strong patch of play in Southgate's half at some point. And of course, if they can win a penalty corner from that, great.
Another exchange of passes via a play where it's pinball. Chance here, and that stick has gone flying.
Yeah, that's the point I was making a minute ago. You know, it's very difficult to, in these conditions, to literally keep a grip of your stick, as you saw there.
Teague Marcano looking to add to his earlier goal in the game. Tried to put everything into that and ended up losing his stick. We've seen a couple of things we don't usually see at that end of the field. Beeston moving it very quickly down the other end of the field towards the baseline. Twists, turns. Is there a pass on? Yes, there is. Collinson, I think that is who's in possession now. For Joe Paul, who's let it run. Hanassar twists, maintains possession for Beeston, trying to build a bridgehead.
Yeah, just and you see how Southgate is stepping out a bit further than Beeston have been doing, just for that very moment there, where there's a turnover and they are three-quarters of the way down the pitch.
Neat. There are players around the penalty spot. That was calmly done in defence, but there's a big appeal.
Yeah, Beeston ball there. So a difference in the style of pressing that we've been seeing. I mean, Beeston quite deep, Southgate very prepared to press much higher, and of course that led to a problem.
That could have fallen. Keep
That has.
Croft twists, tries to find a shooting angle, does, and batters it away. Van Logrenberg with the left-hand pad. It's still live for Beeston. Chance here. Goalkeeper again involved. Huge arms outstretched, looking for something. Beeston should have gone ahead there, but didn't.
It looked like it was going to happen, but not quite. Gareth Griffiths trying to work something off Henry Croft's shot.
I must say that was a minor, beautiful pass out towards Ben Collinson. That was great a few seconds ago.
Yeah, this is what we're talking about. Just a little bit more intensity about Beeston's play, just in that last 2 or 3 minutes. It's given them a close call, chance to score a goal. And that's what they need. I think they need to do a little bit more of. Just put more pressure on Southgate, make them struggle a bit more than they have been doing. That's fallen. That's
popped up into the body and the appeal. Andrews, I think this is top of the circle. Who's running onto that? Nobody, unfortunately.
Yeah, just put behind all the forwards, sort of heading around to the penalty spot, depth into the D, and it's just gone behind them all. Again, so important at that point from Brendan Andrews' point of view that the ball stays with the forwards a little bit longer.
Turnover on the 23-metre line. What can Beeston do from here? They've applied pace to it. There's a slip, and Beeston will get the free hit outside the circle. The energy is going up a couple of notches here. It's been brought out so it can be brought back in again.
Skills.
Great skills. Chance on a plate here.
Very good cover from Southgate for the slip ball. Defender perfectly in position for that. Seeing the ball safely away. Didn't see who the defender was, but that was a perfect way to protect against the slip off the baseline. Beeston higher now, you see, they've just got themselves decided to push up a little bit. But of course that does leave the space if they don't collect the ball.
There's been quite a few instances of a turn in possession as well, and that's creating a better space for Beeston to work with the ball. Here's the ball in towards the circle, free hit outside, probably on the dotted line, as far as I can tell.
Just looking if Beeston have got players around the penalty spot on the back post. Yeah, still an opportunity to build something from here, upgrade, and maybe get that second penalty corner.
I'm looking at, I think that's Owen Sutton, number 9, who's lingering with intent outside the circle. I think if it makes a run, he can be found. There's the ball towards the circle and away via the free hit.
Yep, good solid defensive work from Southgate again in there, defending that corner of the pitch. A lot of them around there made life very difficult.
Will Calnan, who was earlier shown a green card, whose that suspension is obviously complete. We can see him back on the field. But that's the only card we've had in the game today so far.
Yeah, that's nicely connected.
Croft does very well.
Finding
Bounces
himself
off a couple
some
of players,
so
taking everyone on.
So crashing his way through, very much the Lone Ranger style of player. You know, he's capable of creating open shots for himself and getting through defences on his own. He can do that kind of thing. Misread the lead from Henry Croft, who sort of looked like he was going to go and didn't. And that's got away. Now this is dangerous. There's a 2-on-1 here.
West, who goes to ground, and it's still not out of harm's way from a Beeston perspective. So Southgate really trying to put the pressure on, and will clear from.
Jamie Rawlins was very good on the ball there. Tricky skills to get himself out of a tight spot. We're going to see an aerial, I suspect. Oh no,
they fooled you.
They fooled me. Yes, that's right.
I'm also starting to feel, as well as I think the cards seem to have receded a little bit.
Yes, yeah.
The threat of cards, at least. But at the same time, I think it's going to be a mistake for the next goal.
And that certainly was a mistake.
Chance
where that
here.
is. A real mistake on the outlet pass has just put Beeston in all kinds of trouble there. We'll see that again in a minute.
I couldn't quite believe my eyes. I was saying it would be a mistake that will lead to the next
There it
goal,
was.
and then it happened. It manifested.
Oh, we're not going to quite see it from where where the trigger point was, but a turnover, an inside pass, left half into a midfield position and just cut out completely. Beeston up against it now to respond quickly.
Southgate ahead for the first time in the game. We'll bring you confirmation of the goal score as soon as we have it, but it was a very collected finish because too much power on that could have increased the danger.
Yeah, that's right, it's almost floated in. Yeah, again, measured build-up from Southgate. They're quite clinical from this part of the pitch. Happy to take their time. Beeston dropping off again. Oh, but Beeston will stay patient at this point. There's still plenty of time in the game, but again, they're going to want to try to turn these statistics around in their favour on the possession, because Southgate have had the better of the build-up play.
Someone very keen to get substituted on the far side of the field.
Ball fed into the midfield. Difficult to get out of there, but that's... I don't quite know how that happened. Must have hit a full use of the aerial and off the pitch. So another little opportunity goes away there. So Southgate quite clearly making sure that whatever happens, they're not giving away any corners for Beeston, despite the number of times that Beeston have managed to get into their D. And they've taken their chance very well. Came, as you were saying, Andy, it came off a mistake. And sure enough, it was quite costly.
Beeston working it into space in the middle of the park. Nice turn again. Where's the next phase of play going to?
Yeah, that was decent skills into the centre of the D. Needs to get that in there and find a foot.
Look how compact
good
the Southgate defence is. Very difficult to get through.
Yeah, they're very good. They get themselves tidy and they close down any travelling player. You can see instantly that there's certainly two of the Southgate defence close that player off, and the others work hard back into shape to stop Beeston being able to build up too much play in their half. So it's a good performance.
As ever, I'm grateful for the work from Colin Pike, who's looked at some of the stats for us. Southgate looking for the first victory here at Nottingham Hockey Centre since 2005. A 1-0 victory. Ali Ganzafar with the goal back then. The first Premier Division win since the 31st of January 1999. Still time. There's only one goal separating the sides. And there's a flick ball back. Punched in towards the circle. Another free hit for Beeston. What can they make from here?
Bit of pressure building here, and the Southgate's tight marking in the D is making it difficult to find a free player. I think they'll be certainly trying to win a penalty corner.
Turnover in a good position. There's a slip and it's a Beeston ball outside the circle. We're approaching three-quarter time. Obviously a goal is a goal, but this is a good time to score, isn't it? It changes a few minds.
Yes, yeah. Southgate again. Yeah, very, very tight. Good defensive work again. It's making life very difficult for Beeston to create any openings.
We're looking again at the replay off screen, see if we can identify the goal scorer. Richmond Lum is the goal scorer for 1-2. So it's
another attack finding its way into the D.
That's a big bump. Very physical battle on the far side of the field. Ball into the circle again. Huge appeal and no. Very synchronised.
Yes, it was, yeah. Beeston coming away with that, but yeah, there's quite a lot. That's nicely controlled. Yeah, Rowan Boo just on the ball there, just bringing that under control very quickly. Needed to be defended. That was a free Southgate player behind. It was Jamie Rawlings.
There was a converging And fortunately, it came off best for Beeston, but there's a turnover on halfway.
Yeah, these Henry Croft trying to get through 2 players there, and turnover is very costly at the minute.
That, though, is not going to do anyone any favours
No.
in red. Quick note, because we've mentioned him, Rowan Bowie, who departed Beeston for Southgate in the summer, recently called up to the development squad, if I memory serves you correctly.
Yep.
Well done.
Turnover again, another one. And another, so that's recovered. Beeston have to do a lot of work to repossess ball that they've given away.
Good pace, though, very quickly through from the 23 to 23. What can happen here? That's punched in towards the centre, and you can see Dylan Limhom.
Yeah, it's just gone off
lingering.
The back, yeah, so it's important really not to get desperate in the type of attack you develop. You want it to be a proper build-up, so you've got a chance of creating something good. So they're just hoofing it off the back's really not helpful. It's got to be a connecting pass.
Just looking at the style with Panasar's restart a couple of passes ago, very, very calm, very measured, good weight on that, almost putted it. And there's a miss.
Well, that's surprising again. I think everybody thought that was a foot, but Southgate playing on and just getting on with it. At least they need to get back into shape. Space for a shot.
And disappointment in the Beeston defensive ranks. Not happy. I think
I think the reason for all that, Andy, is that there was a turn by the player, and the hit wasn't a hit properly. It just bobbled, and not much that the defender could do about that.
Time is off currently as we're watching the replay. I think Panasar was just trying to get out of the way.
Yeah, I'm not sure that should be a penalty corner.
The umpires are in discussion live, and it has gone. It's been overturned. So if you're following along at home and put your penalty corners into your notebook, you can scrub that one out. Gone. Beeston 1, Southgate 2. Clock's beginning to tick again.
Yeah. So fortunate moment, because if that could have been a deliberately won penalty corner, in which case Beeston would be facing one at 2-1 down. But
Robbie Gleeson, nice ball towards the left-hand side. Support coming into the circle. Another Beeston ball right outside the edge of the circle, taken over the 5. Now powered in again, bounces a couple of times.
Yeah, again some clinical defence from Southgate, making life difficult for Beeston to get into the D in any kind of control.
On our production meeting, start thinking about the answer to this question. What do you say to both sides at quarter time?
Yes.
Have a think about that. Beeston with one opportunity really before the end of the quarter. There's not much of an overload in the circle. There's a chance here. Shooting opportunities disappeared, but being brought back to life in the circle. Advantage, penalty corner.
Yeah. Well, that certainly would be one of the things. You'd be saying win penalty corners. Well, for both teams, but certainly Beeston need them, being the team that's trailing at the moment.
Well, we've seen Beeston score 100% of their penalty corners so far. Can they keep their record perfect? Rawlings earlier on with the rocket.
Yes.
So,
well, I'm pretty sure that they will have kept Jamie Rawlings on in defence on the off chance that they get corners.
that is the end of the quarter, so this is the final action of the third quarter of the game. Remarkably similar to the way that things happened in the women's fixture earlier on in the day, where Beeston can load everyone up around the circle here. I do say this very often. Sometimes it can be too many cooks, but if you know your routine, you can. Your non-interacting players can cause as much of a distraction as possible.
Yes.
Robbie Gleeson is going to go over to inject the ball. Who have we got around the edge of the corner? Rawlings is 23, just leaning down now. Very tall player in comparison to those around him. So we're looking to the trap to the left-hand side, or will it be something different?
Pretty sure they'll give it to him. They haven't.
Battered and then just missed by Gleeson, who it came at him very quickly.
Yes. Well, you were right, Andy. They went to the other castle. I'm not sure that was a wise thing to do. I think it might have been better to give Jamie Rawlings that chance of a powerful flick, just on bearing in mind where the time was, just on the 3/4 mark. So a bit to do, really. I mean, Beeston have got to carry on with the trend that has been there for the last 2 or 3 minutes in terms of getting forward, trying to win those extra penalty corners, trying to create space in the D. Southgate, I don't think they'll be too concerned about how well they've defended, because they seem to do that pretty well. And as long as they can keep taking the ball away and seek that opportunity themselves at the other end, I think they'll be fairly comfortable at the minute.
So here comes the question that we telegraphed a few minutes earlier on. What do the two teams do? Firstly, let's look at Southgate.
Well, Southgate have got to be much of the same, really. Defensively, make sure that if Beeston decide that they're going full tilt into the D, to be as calm in defence as they have been doing and take the pressure off time and time again, whilst at the same time making sure that they have a bit of pressure themselves, because they can't just sit back on a 1-goal lead. That wouldn't be a wise thing to do. And from Beeston's point of view, they need more possession in Southgate's half, more connections in the D, and if possible, through passing moves, a bit more space. But of course, the other thing is to win those corners.
And then turning our attention to Beeston, what do you do differently?
I think it's a case really of trying to build up your play from the back. I'm not sure about the aerial to try to create attacks, because I think Southgate are quite good at dealing with that. But as long as they can build up steadily down the right flank, the left flank, they've done that very well, and just end up with possession in and around the Southgate 23, I think that would be the best thing that Beeston could achieve. So to play higher up the pitch and force Southgate back.
One more question, this one a bit more on the spot. More goals in the game, yes or no?
Yes. I think it's. I think the nature of the two teams is such that there will be more goals.
Well, you heard it here first. Beeston 1, Southgate 2 will not be the final score, according to Steve Musson. 17.5 minutes still to play.
Just thinking back to the last quarter of last week's game, Andy. There was quite a noticeable change in Beeston's attacking style in that quarter. They're going to have to do it again. But in doing that, you can leave yourself open, so they could be susceptible to a counter-attack goal from Southgate. That's why I think potentially there is another goal. I haven't told you from who, though. No, you have left that one open. Tantalising, dangling.
Yeah, we've been treated to a good spectacle today. It's been a very enjoyable game of hockey. In fact, one of 2 today on BTV.
See, this is what Southgate will be pleased to do, is to have possession up the pitch and keep it for long periods of time. You can see that they're not going to rush to turn this over. So the possession game is very important for them. Beeston's point of view, they need to get the build-up play when they get the ball and make sure that it gets to the opposition's 23 and the D. Stick tackle there from Robbie Gleeson. It's a free hit to Southgate. Con Brown again, coordinating, choreographing things from. See, the urgency factor will change this as well, because Beeston need to get back into it, whereas Southgate, if a little bit of time goes away whilst they're in the lead, they won't be quite so worried.
I know I did mention this earlier on, but it's good to see the hockey under the lights. I think it's a different spectacle. If this was 3 o'clock and soaking wet, it wouldn't be anywhere near as enjoyable, I don't think, for some reason. Can't put finger on why, but it's just something special about being under the lights. And I think this is a good thing as Beeston break down the right-hand side. Can they keep it in? Yes, they can. Players are over in the middle. And there's a player gone down. Play is still live. No advantage coming.
Well, I mean, it looks from here like he was pushed over, but it didn't. Obviously, it wasn't what the umpire saw, and he was very close to it.
Another free hit for Beeston just outside the dotted line, 5 metres out from the shooting circle.
This is where they attacked from last week against East Grinstead quite successfully.
Look at this for a run, and then we are pulled back, and disappointment from the runner.
Yeah, that's
Ali Richmond.
Free in the D at that point. I'm not quite sure Well, he felt he needed to stop that.
And then into the circle we go. Chance, blocked by the goalkeeper.
And it's fallen very...
Enormous call for something in the middle of there. Didn't really get a good look at it, but the players are closer than me.
Well, yeah, a little bit of annoyance there from the Beeston players. As we say, we didn't see quite what happened, but a decent attack. I thought for a minute it was going to fall free.
They're knocking on the door.
Yes, yeah.
Good tussle on the ground. Southgate do come away with it. The space on the Southgate right-hand side, and
this is where I thought the Beeston press high and try to attack high. There's going to be space for Southgate if they can counter-attack. That's
Griffiths' ball, plays it down towards halfway, and then John Sterlini gets a stick onto it.
Yeah, this is, I mean, hockey nowadays is not really a game where you can expect a player to miss the ball.
And here goes Croft. There's no one in support at the moment, but support is coming. He's decided to go play the ball on the outside, run on the inside. He's still maintained possession. We are coming back for a free hit. Panesar takes it forward, gives it and pushes forward towards the edge of the circle. And that's neat into the circle, but straight onto a Southgate stick. And Panesar's appealing for something. I'm not sure what.
But they do get themselves shaped up nicely in defence, Southgate, to stop that kind of ball in.
Run all the way to the other end of the field, and goalkeeper.
That's turned out to be a very good save, I think, because I reckon that was deflected into the keeper's chest.
Right place, right time. That's half the battle.
Well, it keeps Beeston in it, because if they concede a goal at this point, then it will be very difficult to fight back whilst it stays at 2-1. And we've still got quite a few minutes on the clock.
Indeed, we are into minute 58 on BTV, our second game of the day. If you want to relive any of the action, you can just do that on YouTube later on. The game will be there for you, or both games will be there for you to watch later, right, if you've missed anything. Gleeson tries to ride a couple of challenges and does so, pushing the ball out to the right-hand side. Continues his run, and he goes to ground, and that's a
yeah, nearly was.
Nearly penalty corner. It's a free hit outside of the circle, and I think Gleeson is starting to ask a few questions. This is grumpy Gleeson.
Yes, it is, yeah. Probably at his best when he's like that, and there's a good rangy run into the D.
Penalty corner it is.
And there is a penalty corner. I'm not sure quite why that was, but there's no hesitation from the umpire, so...
It could be accumulation, really.
Yeah, possibly.
We'll see the restart, and you can see that the umpire is very particular about where the restart is, and we can see that the run is okay. A little bit of backing into the player, into the circle, and possibly a swing of the stick.
Yeah, or a hand in the back. He's pushing it. I think he's suggesting there was a push. But, well, I mean, I think Beeston know what they've got to do here. Somehow they need to get the injection and trap to be in the right place for Jamie Rawlings so he can launch something at the goal, because I'm pretty sure Southgate would defend the other stuff quite well. They'll be drilled to deal with moves, and the most tricky thing to stop is a bullet that is flying either at your head or into the top corner.
Rawlings is the player furthest back on the left-hand side. Little shuffle to the right-hand side. It looks like it will be Rawlings who goes low. It stops on the line. It's still live. Shooting opportunity is evaporating. Can Beeston get a shot on target? No, it's gone out for a long corner.
Yeah.
Rawlings did pretty well, but Southgate were equal to it.
Yeah, again, their defence, Southgate's defensive strength has worked wonders for them today. Still Beeston trying to probe away on this part of the...
Griffiths into the circle. Huge appeal there. That did look like it popped up.
Yeah, again, another example of how strong Southgate have been. I think that's probably been, for me, their best feature, really, is how many times they've broken down Beeston attacks.
Almost an hour gone on BTV in the second match of the day. Beeston 1, Southgate 2. 10 minutes left.
Beeston dropped off a bit deep here. I mean, obviously Beeston in two minds a little bit really whether they're going to get eliminated and possibly concede that dreaded third goal, whilst at the same time trying to make sure that they get some pressure on the Southgate goal.
It's been a pretty decent performance from both sides. At the moment, you'd think that Southgate obviously are a goal ahead, but they're also slightly winning on points.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Ball punched down the middle.
Again, you see, those are the things for me that have been a little bit risky from Beeston's point of view.
Sometimes, though, when you're losing it, it's just a goal. You throw caution to the wind, and look at the running is good. And we've got.
I think we're going to find a
card
card
here
for that, which adds a little bit of pressure to Southgate.
We'll have a very good look at this. It is a yellow card that has been shown, and it's a signal of 5.
Yes, deemed to be more deliberate than accidental.
So Brown is the player who's looking at
and he's been significant in organising the defence. So whether that will be difficult, add difficulty to Southgate, but they'll defend deep now, I'm sure, with the 10 men. Central position for the restart, and again it's just trying to find that route through, not easy.
A player to the good for another 4 minutes or so. Beeston are finding a route in towards the circle. They're looking for something that isn't there. Another appeal,
yes,
penalty corner.
Yeah. Well, I think this definitely, as we said, this is probably the best way forward for Beeston. The resolute defending from Southgate has made open play stuff really difficult. Henry Crofts found it difficult to make space for shots. So the obvious way is, if you can, to get yourself penalty corners. So that's the deliberate intent there. Just there to put that on a foot.
You were saying earlier on, well, we'll talk about Jamie Rawlings, the stats I've been given. He scored 27 drag flicks and made the All-Stars team in the Australian League over the course of the summer.
Yeah.
That's a lot of quality and someone reliable given the opportunity. He's already scored 1 today. Can he get a second?
Yes.
And can Beeston get back on level terms before the end of the game?
Well, a great opportunity here. Still plenty of time on the clock. Although it is counting down quickly, if they were to get an equaliser here, it would make for a very interesting last 7 or 8 minutes.
I've got a feeling it's got to go high. We'll see. It's a huge pad on that. Griffiths tries to batter that into the goal, won't find it. It's on the reverse. There's another appeal, penalty corner, repeat, and we do have an injury, I think, on the ground.
Well, it didn't particularly look.
I wonder if we can get a replay of that whilst there's no play. No, we can't.
It was obviously a reverse stick shot, and that's the #1 runner taking his pads off, but it looked for all the world like the umpire had signalled for a penalty corner, but that's changed. So a few more minutes disappear.
62:40, the match clock is stopped at. We will be restarting in due course, and we are live now.
Yeah, you see, Beeston can afford to step up now because of the extra man, with a view to trying to put as much pressure as they can on the Southgate outletting. But they do need to be strong in the tackle there and make sure that they get the ball.
Beeston ball. Panesar plays it down the left-hand side. There are players in the middle. Don't forget, Beeston are a player to the good here. Chop inside, in towards the circle. On the little round the corner doesn't quite come off. It will be a sideline ball for Beeston though.
Yeah, I think that was a little bit hopeful from Brendan Andrews there, because I think he was actually trying to make a connecting pass to the guy on the baseline, but that was probably not going to happen. And didn't hit a foot either, so back they come again.
Another aerial that doesn't quite come off.
So these little missed traps, they just, you see seconds drift away from Beeston. They're going to need all the last 5 minutes to get back on terms.
Another appeal, long corner. This is starting to get a bit fractious now.
Time's getting close to the end, and
Into the circle. Goalkeeper's been bypassed. Who can get to it first? It's a Southgate stick, but it's also a defensive hit out as well. It opened up.
it did look for all the world like there was a Beeston player in an open position, but wasn't to be. I think it hit a Beeston foot.
Not long left on that 5-minute yellow card for Quan Brown. From what I understand, that the suspension is taking the suspended players are on the bench because it's so wet out there today.
Yeah.
Which is fair enough, really. What can Beeston do from here? It's gone out.
It doesn't feel like Beeston are able to create the necessary types of opportunity they're going to need when the time is ticking away. Fighting for the ball, but again, it's fallen quite nicely there.
Good hassle, good Harry. That didn't come off a stick, but we'll ignore that for now. Into the circle, chance here. It is an equaliser!
Well, Henry Croft has just leapt onto that at the last minute and managed to round the keeper. Best person to get the ball in that position, so back to 2-2 with a bit of time on the clock.
Henry Croft, Beeston's leading goal scorer of the season, adds another to his tally so far. That's 5 for the season now.
Yeah, good finish, good typical Henry Croft finish. Latched onto it quickly. Lovely little reverse stick slip through to Gareth Griffiths by Balraj Panesar, and he tipped it on very nicely for Henry Croft. Now, I need to be careful because we've talked about these phases straight after you've scored a goal.
And it's a defensive hit out, big appeal. Quan Brown's yellow card has elapsed. We can see him back on the field of play in the middle of the pitch. You can't see him in the picture, but he's in the middle of the pitch. And Beeston tails up at the moment, looking to find potential, what could be the winner here. But there's 3 minutes where you can either throw caution to the wind and come away with nothing, or get all 3 points.
And it's
long corner.
Well, we did wonder how costly that card for Quan Brown might be, because obviously he's instrumental in marshalling the Southgate defence. You can see that in the way that they've played. So for him to be out for 5 minutes and for the goal to be scored at that point, you wonder about the necessity of the stick tackle that saw him carded.
Good pressure from Southgate, pushing Beeston out to the right-hand side, very edge of the field.
Again, they're back to that strong defence, just getting low, protecting the ball, drawing a foul from the forward. And transferring it round the back, just having to be careful here, Southgate, that they don't turn the ball over. They've done that very nicely.
Will Calnan has the ball stripped off him, and Beeston spring forward. Enterprising down the middle. Space is starting to open up. Legs are starting to get tired. Clip ball forward, though, doesn't find its intended recipient.
I don't think that's a particularly decent effort, really. I'm not quite sure what the thought process was there. And that's found its way through to
Marcano.
Southgate, and they're in a bit of space. This is a tricky bit of territory to defend. Reset, lads, need to get up quickly and get set. Keep them out of the D.
Goalkeeper down, shooting chance. Well shepherded.
Well stepped in, Ali Richmond there. So
has that ball been kept in play? Yes, it has. Good shielding from Croft, who's taken it a long way. Support is now starting to come. He's taking them all on.
And he's won the free hit in a very, very dangerous position.
I think we're just seeing where we want the ball to be replayed from. It's you don't usually see both umpires in shot in this area of the field, but everyone's come down expecting possibly a bit of a grandstand finish. There's a ball towards the top of the circle.
That's an unfortunate mistrap there by Gareth Griffiths. He's won it back, so
3D skills lift it up. He's allowed to continue, and Beeston get another free hit.
Yeah.
Just over 60 seconds to play. Will we get a winner in what's turned out to be a classic here? Beeston 2, Southgate 2. Is there a winner? That's come off what?
Free hit again for Beast. No.
Might be a long corner, I think it is.
Yeah, it is long corner, yeah. Well, they know where to they need to put this. This needs to be targeted on somebody on the... Oh, that's just a ridiculous way to restart. Will Prentice.
I was about to say there was no the lack of movement, but look at this. This is Marcano, who scored the equalising goal, decides to run it on. Beeston, I think, needs to go into a damage limitation mode for 30 seconds and hang on to the point.
Yes, yeah. Well, I mean, Will Prentice there, what on earth is he thinking? Such a dangerous position for a restart to create some trouble. And he plays it straight into the Southgate stick. And that's a Beeston ball. They need to just
Maximum
switch
distance,
on to that.
Griffiths moving quickly.
Height.
And that is the final whistle, and a frustrated figure running towards the penalty spot was Brendan Andrews. He absolutely busted a gut to get on the end of that, but there was no time. That was the final act of our double header, and I suppose it's appropriate that we ended up 2-2 in our double header today. Jamie Rawlings scoring with a penalty corner on 3 minutes. Teague Marcano equalising likewise on 26. Richmond Lum capitalising after a surprising defensive lapse from Beeston. And then we saw the equaliser coming from Henry Croft on 66.
Yes, yeah. I think overall, I think it's probably a fair result, although there were quite long phases in the game where Southgate were in control of the ball. Beeston always looked a bit threatening, but it didn't quite come off because of the quality of the Southgate defence. So to get that equaliser at the end, I think is a fair return.
I think if I was Southgate, I would be slightly more miffed than Beeston to be coming away with a point on this one. We'll very quickly we'll try out some of the graphics if we can. Just a reminder of the earlier score. Beeston, Clifton, Robinsons. It finished Beeston 1, Clifton, Robinsons 3. And Eloise Leahy and Jess Lee, Libby Hoskins for Clifton Robinson's Mad Newitt, and then, as you saw a few minutes ago, 2-2 for Beeston and Southgate, a point apiece. We couldn't separate them before the start of the game.
No.
And it's turned out to be that way too at the end of the game. We will give you some more information as well, because next time on BTV, it's Derby Day. Beeston, University of Nottingham, back-to-back women in the Vitality Women's Premier Division at 4 o'clock, followed by the men at 6 o'clock. Be there or be square. Mus, how's it gone today for you?
Yeah, it's very enjoyable to watch. Conditions were awful, and I think that had a bit of an effect on some of the skills. But I think that the attacking play from both sides was very good at times. But particularly for me, the thing that stood out was the organisation of the Southgate defence and the difficulty that gave Beeston in creating plenty of opportunities. Great to see Henry Croft get another goal at the end and just bring things level. So
yeah, 5 for the season. I think he might top the scoring charts at the end of the day. We'll have a look at that in due course. So yeah, busy day of hockey. It's been a pleasure keeping you company today. I will disappear off and see if I can get some food from Working Man's Kitchen, because the food here is excellent. What's next for you, Mus?
Same thing. I've not eaten today, so I'm about to have a pizza.
Well, from all of us in the chapel, from Adam on the camera, from Kellen, who's on the 1s and 2s, thank you to Josh, who's been keeping everything plugged in as well. Steve Musson for your insights, and from me, Andy Day, it has been a true pleasure keeping you company on BTV. Until the 14th of October, see you again.